Yo, what's going on, comic compadres, and welcome back to the Hoodrat podcast, where I'm Hoodrat, your Hoodrat, and what we all Hoodrats, man. And I'm over here, man, dedicated to being a comic podcast while my Warriors are playing right now. So if any of y'all are out there watching the game, man, like in the chat, man, let me know what the score is because we're about. I mean, we're up two or 2-1, and we won one over there in Memphis, man. So that's all we need to do. So I just want to make sure that, my boys are taking care of business, man. But we're back over here, man. Thank you for joining in. If you're on the rewind or if you're over here in the live chat, make sure that you hit the like and the subscribe because I think I'm about 13 off from 500. And, it's a hard hill to climb, man. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I don't ask that much, but try and do that. Try to spread the word. But today, we got a special guest, man. But before I bring on the special guest, let me bring in the Rat Pack. That's what we call him, the Rat Pack, man. First off, I want to bring in my man from the town, man. He hits up all the taco trucks that I do, man, and he's the reader of the bunch. And that's my boy Kirk, man. What's up, Kirk?
Man, I need to get some tacos. It's been a minute since I grabbed some of them tacos.
Oh, bro, when I mentioned tacos, you're like, oh, I remember those now,
you saw my mouth started to salivate, so.
Bro, I had a really good burrito this weekend, bro. I was hungry, man. I was hungry, and we got John Stout in the house, man. What's up, John, bro? Welcome, man. Welcome.
What up, John?
Hey, and next up, man, we got the librarian, man, the man with all the old books, and the man that's been collecting. He's forgot more comics than we know, right? Right, Kirk? He's definitely got a lot of books. He forgot more comics than we know, man. That's my man, Dan. What's up, Dan? How you doing, Dan?
We're doing great. You are showing your loyalty today. Your Warriors are on right now, but you're still here working, providing for the chat.
I know, man. I was 50-50, man. I was like, if the Warriors are playing, we're in the playoffs. Because I don't really, I watch the Warriors all year. Even when they're bad, right? Like, we've had a couple bad years, but but I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm dedicated, man, to us, spreading that knowledge. Oh, I see you, Kirk. I see you.
There we go.
I see you.
I might as well since I have mine.
I was gonna wear my jersey today, man, but I got like bruises all up my arm.
My brother got the jerseys.
I don't want to make like my wife is like, what's your wife doing to you? But it's
but you do martial arts, so it's like that. It makes sense though.
Oh, bro, I'm
right.
I got like fingerprints all the way down, right here, up on my back, man. It's crazy, bro. Like you guys don't want to see that, man. But next up, I want to bring up my guest, man, the guest. And this is a guy I've known for a long time. Dan and my shift, we go way back with this guy, man, and that's our man Hype, man. What's up, Hype?
What's up? Well, the Raptors lost in the first round, so I got nowhere else to be.
Oh, lucky you, bro. Lucky you, man. We're still sweating, bro.
But honestly, happy to be here. Yeah, for real. Like I mentioned to you before, I think actually in the stream that we did 2 weeks ago, like you were one of the first guys that kind of got me hip to this whole IG and YouTube thing. So yeah, happy to be on your show, man.
Hey, man, thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on, man, and reaching out, man, because you're always welcome, Hype, man.
Appreciate it. And to the chat, listen, I apologize. I'm off camera. Like I told the fellas backstage, having a bit of a battle with allergies, so had to shut the camera off, and we're just going to do audio on my side.
And Hyper's doing a doubleheader today. He was on an earlier show, the Comic Book Kingpins. They brought it as they always do. So Hyper, I appreciate you coming on tonight, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, it's not really a chore when you're talking comics with guys that love the hobby. So I consider this just fun time.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I saw you, bro. I was watching you guys for a bit, bro, over there at with the Kingpins, man. I'm like, I know, Hype is not feeling it today, man, but he came on anyway. That's dedication, bro.
Man.
Yeah.
And you guys were like an hour and a half show over there, so you about to be on another hour show with us, man. So I appreciate you, bro.
Like I said, man, if I didn't enjoy the company I was with, I wouldn't even be here. So
well, I appreciate it. I'm honored.
Yeah, same here.
All right, guys, man, you guys ready to get into it, man?
Ready to go, sir.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, guys, welcome to Trendy Not Trendy, man. These are books that we're seeing that aren't trending yet, but could be trending in the future, man. And Kirk, man, what was your first pick, bro?
My first pick is Marvel Comics Presents Weapon X. It's one of my like favorite like Wolverine storyline. I think it's just written so well. But there's no secret. Even if you haven't seen the Doctor Strange movie, you've seen the trailer. Like mutants are gonna eventually come. And when we get mutants, we're gonna get the X-Men, we're gonna get Wolverine, and Wolverine's such a popular character. We're gonna get this storyline of Weapon X, and I would love to see an interpretation of Weapon X through, from the MCU. So this is an affordable book. Like last one was sold for $8. Like. Mm-hmm. I found this in the dollar bin. Like, this book is going to go up. So if you haven't got this storyline, I would pick it up ASAP.
Yo, Hype, I know you like this book, right?
Yeah, man, and it's funny, like, because this is a book I'm trying to find a good, clean copy of. Because, like Kurt mentioned, this is a book that's sort of under the radar. And those prices don't surprise me because everyone's gunning for that Marvel Presents 72. Which started the story arc, and that's I think like a $60 book at this point. But technically, this is like the first appearance of Weapon X. So, this is one of those things where I would agree. I would pick this up sooner than later before the community catches on, because usually the case is once people get priced out of those 72s, they'll go for the next best thing. So then they'll start looking at these books. So
I heard there's rumor that a Weapon X may be showing up. So Kirk, you may be getting your wish. Is there anything? Have you guys heard anything concrete that there's going to be a Weapon X storyline coming up?
I don't know. That would be amazing, though.
I know. Was it 72? I knew they were up, right? They were pretty. It was up pretty high, right? For a minute. Yeah.
It cooled down, but it's still not a cheap book. I mean, it's still in that 50, 60. I know at one point it used to be like $100 or something. And I think, Dan, to your point, I think it's because there was some, I don't know if it's rumors or hearsay, but about some Weapon X show. Again, I don't know if those were substantiated, but I know that kind of caused that book to kind of take a bit of a spike.
So it's just in the rumor mill still.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if anything is substance, like if there's any substance behind it, but who knows? I mean, Wolverine, I feel is inevitable in the MCU. It's just a matter of when, not if. Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I'm having some issues with my internet, man. You know what I'm saying? So the lead man is having some issues with the internet, but yeah, man, I think I'm gonna pull it back up. I think that, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, Kirk, man. That's a good book to pick, man. And we still haven't got Wolverine, man. But it looks like Memphis is up, bro. Like it's the second half. They're up 41-38, which isn't that bad. Not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad.
What game number is this? You said 3?
This is 3. Yeah. This is this is 3. Yeah. Is it? No, this is 4 because we're up 2-1.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is 4. Yeah. Hold on. I don't know. What is going? Go ahead.
Anybody in the chat, by the way, just to help Ian out, we should dedicate someone to keep the score of the basketball game and then update us throughout the chat.
I think that's what John Stout was doing.
Yeah, I saw that.
John Stout was doing. Yeah, man. My hey, Paul's in the house, man. Yo, Paul, man. Remember my boy Paul, man? He had a good show, and then something happened to his internet, or he didn't hit the button. So I'm kind of having that issue too right now, Paul. Like I can't get my internet rolling. I don't know what's going on.
It was cool to share the camera with Paul on your show actually a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Paul's dope, dude. I like Paul a lot, man. Let me wait for my internet to come back up, guys. And I have one computer on, and it's plugged in, and this is the one that's working right now. So
it's all good.
Yeah, it's a live show. You're going to have difficulties, and I think I've solved my problems. Everyone knew that I had problems with the internet. The wireless simply wasn't working, so I not hardwired. I got an Ethernet cable, plugged it in directly, and it seems to be working just fine.
Didn't you say you have like a vendetta against Comcast or something?
All is forgiven. All is forgiven. We don't want to curse them now.
They're listening.
Yo, I'm about to curse AT&T because this ain't cool, man. I pay for the highest rated internet, man. You know.
Yeah.
What is going on?
That's what happens.
So
Yeah.
just for those in the chat, we saw we all saw the Doctor Strange movie, but I think there's enough spoilers out there. I'm not going to give any element to it if you haven't seen the movie yet.
What would you give the rating on? I mean, we're not going to give anything away, but what would you rate your Doctor Strange experience?
Well, the Kingpins, I think you guys gave it an 8.5.
No, I gave it a 7.5.
You did, okay.
I was actually one of the guys that gave it one of the lower ratings. Yeah.
Okay. Being a Doctor Strange fan, I liked it. I'd give it an 8.5 to a 9. It was that good. What surprised me, and this isn't any spoiler, there we go. It wasn't who showed up in the movie, but who didn't show up, and I think I can say that fairly without giving anything away.
Actually, that answer actually intrigues me. I'm gonna have to ask you backstage what that means.
Okay, all right.
Hey, I want to give the guys that are hanging with us, man. Rudy's in the house, man.
What's up,
you
Rudy?
you hanged with us all the way through it, man. I appreciate it. We got my boy James in the house, Doctor of Comics, man. Last 2 minutes, I got you in the fourth quarter. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you, man. And then who else we got here? I think Chef's in the house, man. Chef's in the house. Chef says, "What's up, Hyper, man?"
What up, Chef? What's
He's
up?
saying that to everyone.
Hey, Chef.
All of us over here. Chef's in the house, man. We got we got Efren in the house, man. That's my man, Efren, man. Ozzy's in the house, man. Oh, joining from the north, man. Ozzy's
My Canadian bro. I gotta give a shout out to Ozzy. I actually bought some stuff off his Whatnot on this past weekend, and his stuff just shipped out. So I'm looking forward to getting that package.
I know. I want to buy some too, Ozzy, but man, coming from Canada, it's like, damn, it's expensive, man. The shipping, bro. You know,
Not as bad as the UK though.
Let me ask, how much? Because I know, like, when I buy stuff from U.S. sellers, typically I'm paying $15 for the first item. How much do you guys pay for a seller from Canada?
I think it's $15. It was $15. It was $15 bucks. You know,
I mean, the thing is, honestly, the way I go around it is just buy additional stuff so that your shipping just kind of spreads out among your other items.
Hey man, Dad's in the house too. Dad's in the house, and you get what's up from our boy Nick. You know, he's a fudget. He was on the Fudgets, man. You know,
I was there on the same panel.
He's a fudget. And then here you go, man. The Sam Raimi element to the Marvel to the movie is awesome. I thought.
Yeah, I agree.
The cinematography was dope, man. I gotta say, I was kind of lost in it, man. You know, but to me, there was a lot of stuff going on. You know, like they're trying to shove a lot in one movie. You know, so let's go. Let's keep going, man. So great pick, Kirk, man. Thanks for hanging with us through my internet. May have some more.
That's all good.
I don't know, you know, so we'll see, man. But I'm up next, man. So here's some prices on these. So it's still a pretty decent price book, right, Kirk? It's $8, man. Look, someone got one for $2, you know,
Wow.
and $3.25. Someone paid
$4.21 is a random price.
Not bad, man. So yeah, don't hate me, man, for this one because I picked a pretty expensive book. If I can get it up, here it comes. Here it comes. So I picked Brother Voodoo. You know what I'm saying? The first appearance of Brother Voodoo, man. So this is Strange Tales 169, man. And I don't have this book, so I'm not pumping it. I have the second appearance. I'm still trying to get this book. And after I saw the price on this book, which is it says about $333, but the price has kind of been coming back down. Why am I picking this book? So I'm not going to give any spoilers. Well, I'll give a little. There might be a little spoilers from Doctor Strange. So if you don't want the spoilers, you haven't seen the movie. I'm not going to give the name, but I'm going to kind of give an idea of what's going on. So there's a person from the dark dimension that's showing up in the MCU, right? And this person is related to Dormammu, you know. So and this person could eventually be the ruler of the dark dimension, right? And that's all I'm going to give. That's all, right, Dan? That's enough, right? That's enough, right? So
that's enough.
I think, I think you said
that's enough, right? So
yeah.
So we're getting the dark dimension, right? And why not get a person that's a practitioner of voodoo and black magic to match that, right? And we're getting all these different sorcerers. You know, we see a bunch of different sorcerers. Why can't we get a sorcerer of like voodoo and in the dark dimension in the MCU? And they really did a good fake, man. Marvel did a really good fake because I saw a person casted. I don't know where it was. I seen it on the casting list of a person that was casted as Jericho Drum, you know, which is Brother Voodoo. And he never showed up. He never showed up in Doctor Strange. So that's a little spoiler. Like that's, you know, I mean, besides that, like that's a spoiler I'm going to give you guys. He doesn't show up, which means that this book is still attainable, man. You know what I'm saying?
No, let me back you up. So you saw that in the end credits, you said?
I seen it like on the casting.
Okay, all right.
I'm part of the. I get all these press emails, so I get
Yeah.
these press emails that are coming into my stuff, and I see like the casting of different movies. And there was a guy that was casted as Jericho Drum, So I was like, oh, we're gonna get Dr. Voodoo, like you know what I'm saying? So, but we never got him. We never got him in Doctor Strange, which means this guy's still attainable, right? Like, I mean, I don't know if he's coming down the line. Maybe he might show up in the Halloween special, but the prices for the first appearance of Brother Voodoo is at a pretty good darn price. And I'm going to show you guys. So you see it right here. The raw comic average is about $333. And I'm going to bring this up right here. Look, it's dropping. Like someone got one for $127, and this is a 9.2. There's a 9.2. This is a 5.5. But look at the prices on the raws.
There's
$175. $175. That's an attainable.
That's attainable, yeah.
Price for a B+ character that could be an A. You know what I'm saying? If he shows up in MCU, right. My internet's going down again. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep talking. I feel like you, Dan, like it's in stages, man. It's in stages. So I'm gonna have to but let's keep talking about this Brother Voodoo, man. Dan, what do you think? What do you think, bro? Do you think this is a pretty good attainable book at the moment, man?
Absolutely. I mean, the prices certainly are coming down, but that's true across the board because I keep an eye on this market. I'm always looking on eBay, which is my main source, but I look at others as well. Because of the economy is shaky, so some of these collectibles are coming down. Now, not the Ultra Grails. They're staying up and they're even moving forward. But I hate to say lesser Grails or the B-tier characters are lowering, but they will stabilize at some point. Are they going to hit bottom? I don't know. If you have the means, I agree with all of you. Get your hands on this right now. But when you mentioned the press release you'd seen regarding Brother Voodoo, or the character, two words came to mind regarding the Doctor Strange movie: deleted scene. There may have been something they were going to put in there and didn't at the last minute. So that is it's just speculation on our part.
When the DVD or the DVD, that's
yes, you're right. Yeah.
When the movie comes out,
I'm gonna look it up right now. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna let you know what actor was actually casted as Jericho Drum. So keep going with it, man. I know you guys. This is interesting to me. This is very interesting that they casted somebody that never showed up, and like Dan said, it's a deleted scene, so he could be showing up pretty soon, right?
He could be, but the other thing too, if I remember correctly, weren't there at least one or two delays in the Doctor Strange movie because they had to? My guess is they were questioning the direction of what they were going to do. This certainly could have been one of the directions that they were going to go into, and at the last minute decided not to. Because remember, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like the comics, everything's interwoven with each other. And as I said, there were a number of characters that simply didn't show up, and that was more of a surprise to me than anything else. So, but even... and we'll talk about the Moon Knight spec too. I had brought up a speculation book, and that was Fantastic 419, which he didn't show up in the Moon Knight series.
Oh yeah,
but it was a win-win because even if he doesn't show up, you still have a great comic.
Well, they called him Daniel Drum, but help me out with the Daniel Drum. Is that Jericho's brother?
Ooh, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I didn't see any Daniel Drum, so I thought this was. I mean, in another press release, it was Jericho Drum, but they call him Daniel Drum here on the search. So I seen this. So I'm seeing all this, but I don't think this guy ever showed up. So
no.
So.
Listen, I'll say this much about this book. This is probably I would say if you're hunting for this book or if this was on your radar, pay attention for the next few weeks or a month or so, because we know that the way MCU schedules works, we're not going to see a Doctor Strange movie for at least the next 3-4 years. That's because they can't space it out. So people that may have bought this book on a spec side, there might be some that might be panic selling. You never know. So there might be a chance that you might be able to catch a deal during these, during that window where people might want to offload their copy because they may have been jaded when they were expecting to see Brother Voodoo in this movie and it didn't come to their expectation, and they were really buying the book so much for the character, but more so for on the investment side. So they might be moving on to something else. So you never know. This might be something that you might be able to catch a deal on if you pay attention.
So Mark said that's his brother. Yep, that's his. I knew that was. I think that was his. Yeah, to me when I read these, that's his brother. Which means like Jericho's just around the corner, right? Because one of the reasons he became Dr. Voodoo was because of his brother. You know what I'm saying? So, let me see here. So I'm gonna go. Also beware the Dow Jones. Okay, so this is another thing that we're gonna talk about later. Okay, we're gonna talk about that later. And then Brother Voodoo and Clea. Yeah. Brother Voodoo or Clea could become the Sorcerer Supreme, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't have this book, but I would love to get my hands on one, or more than one, actually, because at that price, I'd buy more than one if I had the means to do it.
I think my boy Godley's here, man. Godley's in the house.
That's at $127. Yeah.
Yeah, 120. Look at that, $175.
I'm curious what condition that was though. At 127, like, is it?
Yeah.
It's probably like a 3 or.
Ian, when you bring these up, does it show the condition as you see the prices for these that were sold?
That's the only reason. That's the only thing that it doesn't show is the condition of the book. But it'll show like a book that's sold at a 9.2 or 5.5.
Yeah.
But these are actually like graded books right here. You know, so right here it's a graded book. So you can see that's pretty comparable, that 5.5 right there. So that was probably this one was probably a 5.5 as well. But I mean, $175 for a mid grade on this book. I mean, I take it, man. I take
it.
And I'm looking for this book. So
yeah,
I definitely want to add this to my.
Like I said, I would say if you guys are looking, you might want to pay attention for the next, because there might be copies coming back up after.
Oh, look at this. Look at James said Brother Voodoo sold for $20K at a 9.8.
What?
Except for 9.8. If you're looking for 9.8, that's a different.
Yeah. You're not gonna. I'm good, bro. We're not. I'll pass on that. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. That's right now it's in a pretty. This is a book that I've really been searching for. I wasn't gonna buy it like at $300. But I'll buy for half price. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good time to pick up this book. So. Brother Voodoo, man. So we actually seen his brother, Daniel Drum. So, he has casted. There's probably a deleted scene, which means that, Jericho's around the corner, man. Jericho's around the corner. But, Hype, what you got, Hype?
All right. So I'm going to give a bit of DC love. And I'm actually going to throw up this book, Batman #6 from the New 52 run. So,
yes.
The significance of this book, as it mentions, it's the first full appearance of the Court of Owls. Prior to this, they were kind of shown in the shadows, and they had a little bit of cameo appearances here and there. This is when they actually fully introduced themselves to Batman, and we got the actual intent. So this is the book that generally people go after when they're thinking Court of Owls. Now, here's the reason why I picked this book. A lot of these franchises, like, I'm talking about mainstays like Batman, Spider-Man, like the X-Men. Usually when, they have decades of history, people get a bit weary when you start changing their lore. And that's why you tend to have stories that sometimes get criticized for being repetitive. Like, Batman seems to always catch the same guy. The guy runs away. That's rinse and repeat. So Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo did something in New 52 where they introduced something to the mythos called, the Court of Owls, which basically kind of almost turned the whole Gotham City lore upside down, where you have these people in the shadows pulling the strings in Gotham, and they've been there since the time of the early Waynes and all that. And honestly, this is one of those, a lot of times changes when they're made, like I said, they're met with resistance. This was one of those introductions that people were met with universal praise. I don't think a lot of people criticize the Court of Owls. I think I'm going to make a bold statement. Like, in the last 2 decades, this is probably one of the best Batman runs that I've read, the New 52 Scott Snyder run. And it's only a matter of time that this appears in some form of media. We did see it in an animated form, but I just feel like it's got to happen in the silver screen.
I believe there's a Batman game coming out with the Court of Owls.
Exactly.
Too.
And actually, I was going to get to that point, because the thing is, we're seeing video games also kind of heating up, like with the Miles Morales game for the PS5. That kind of shot some of those books up. Same thing, we know that the Court of Owls will be featured in... I forgot what it's not a Batman game. It's shoot. If
It's
someone in the chat,
Rock. Oh, it's what's his name? It's not
It-
Red Hood. Is it a
well,
Red
Red
Hood?
Hood and the three other Bat family members are in the game. I
Oh,
forgot
I
the
think
name.
one of the Batgirls I know for sure.
Is it? Okay, anyways, the title escapes me, but again, they're going to be featured in the video game. But also, if you watch the recent Batman movie by Matt Reeves, that's a very grounded Gotham universe where you could see this group kind of fitting into that scenario in the sequel or the third movie or so. So this is just one of those groups that I feel like they're bound to appear in the big screen at some point. And these books have cooled down a bit. I think at one point they were over $100. I think now you can probably catch them for half of that.
Mhm.
And you might even get lucky in the back bin.
Hyper, did you see the latest Batman movie?
I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I actually put that as in my top 3 now, Batman films.
I asked because with the direction they're going, and I really enjoyed that movie. Could they dovetail in with this particular storyline at some point?
I would say so, because the thing is, okay, I'm gonna enter slight spoilers. I mean, the movie's been out for a couple of weeks, so there might be some spoilers for the Batman movie. Just saying. When you look at the first Batman movie that Matt Reeves did, he tied a lot of the storyline was based on the corruption of the city itself. Most of the Batman movies before that, it's usually focused on a central villain and not so much Gotham City in general. This is the one that I felt where Gotham City was almost like a co-star in the movie. And they really dealt with the griminess and the corruption of the city.
Mhm.
That's why you saw no daylight. It was almost like symbolic. Like this is we're just in like shit in the city. And I feel like this group is almost like tailor made for that city where they can kind of fit into that role where they're like in the shadows and they're kind of pulling the strings and how certain things are the way they are in Gotham City. So that's why I feel this group is perfect for the Matt Reeves universe.
There you go, man. Not near mid agrees with you, man. Batman is very grounded in the recent movie. Court of Owls makes a lot more sense than Clayface.
Yeah, and actually, that was actually one of the characters I was thinking of. Because the thing is, a lot of these Batman rogues gallery, aside from a few, they're very campy and corny, and they wouldn't fit into the Matt Reeves universe. I can't see Two-Face. I mean, I know that Nolan did Two-Face, but I just can't see someone like Two-Face being in the Matt Reeves movie.
Yeah.
The most you'll probably get is a Joker, but even their Joker is not going to be the Joker that you're not going to see the Heath Ledger type of Joker in this movie. They're very much more grounded, I find, than the previous Batman movie. So that's why the Court of Owls, I feel, is a much more fitting group in this kind of setting.
Yeah, man. In grounded, you mean relatable, right?
Relatable,
kind of,
and
yeah,
just
relatable.
Down to earth, basically.
If you were to see this movie, you wouldn't even know it's a comic book movie, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I appreciated about this movie as well. I took someone who she wasn't even watching, she doesn't even really read comics, and she liked the movie just as a movie, right? And she didn't really know much about the backstories and all that, but she just enjoyed it thoroughly just as a movie, pure and simple. And I think that's kind of a hallmark of what these movies try to strive for. You want to grab in just the casuals, and you also want to appease guys like us that read the comics.
Yeah.
And then I guess we're not getting Punchline. Punchline would stick out like a sore bloody thumb in a mouth.
Honestly, Punchline in this universe, they'll have to really redo her costume. I mean, look, they did Selena Kyle, right? And they kind of just tweaked her a bit to kind of fit into this. So
it was. I mean, for her, man, too, man. It was still hard to believe. It was for me. It was still hard to believe, man, that Zoe Kravitz could kick some butt like that, man. I was kind of still I don't know. Just I was still. Yeah, I was still kind of. It didn't get me yet, though. That she could do that.
Well, you know what? I am glad that they didn't go the usual route where Catwoman always seems to best Batman in certain battles. I'm glad that in those one-on-one encounters, Batman always was the dominant force. Because I don't know why in some scenarios they always put Catwoman besting Batman, which never made sense to me.
Totally, man.
Batman should always be beating Catwoman. He's Batman.
Hey, man, but let's check the prices on this, bro. So what we got here, man? So there's staying steady, right? It seems like it's staying steady, about like a $70 book. Yeah, you know. So,
and here's the thing. What? Okay, so it's funny. Hoodrat mentioned there is a 1 in 25. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I would go for the cover A more, just because the iconic Greg Capullo cover. That cover, I feel, and then there's a second print which has like the red background, which is a lot more scarcer to find. But yeah, usually I know ratios are usually the way to go, but personally for me, I actually have 2 copies of cover A.
Yeah, man. I like this book, man, and I won't lie. I have the run. I have like 1 through 20. I haven't read it yet, so I found it in the collection and I kept it, man. But I'm gonna read it for sure. You know what I'm saying? Have you
read
it?
18 issues. I think the first 18 issues.
Okay.
That's like the full Court of Owls run.
Yeah, I have it in my Batman box, man. I've been meaning to read it, man, but I get stuck reading other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Kirk,
let me
did
know
you read
when
it?
you read it.
I will.
No, this is a series that I haven't had a chance to get my hands on.
Yeah, I have kind of like a a near mint run. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of kept it, and because I heard it's really good, so I am looking forward to read it now, man. I'll let you know, hype.
I'll tell you this much though about the run, because one thing about the New 52, what they did as an initiative was they rebooted the run so that people, the whole point of the New 52 was people who weren't really into the characters had a jumping on point. So technically, you could read this run and not really have much prior knowledge of Batman and still enjoy it. So there's that.
Hey, man. Go ahead, hype.
No, that was my point. I'm just saying, like, for anyone that was thinking of jumping on this run, you shouldn't have to worry about the barrier to entry when you're reading the storyline.
Yeah, that's what I heard, man. I heard it just, if you don't know nothing about Madman, this is kind of where you can just kind of jump on, man.
It's like a retelling of an origin. Yeah.
Dope, man. Michelle's in the house, bro. What's up, Michelle?
Hey, Michelle.
How you doing, man? How you doing, Michelle? And hey, we having some discussion about Captain Carter. We'll get to that, man. We're gonna get to that because you know where we're going next, man. You guys know where we're going next. If I can find it, we are going to the freezer pit. Yo, man, these are the freezer picks, man. These are the books on the dip, man. Books that you should be, if you're a collector, even if you're an investor, man, like books you should be picking up. Or if you want to pick up something that you love, like Hoodrat says, man, like it's a good time to do it for these books. And Kurt, what was your first freezer pick, man?
My freezer pick right now is Doctor Strange, Strange Tales. What is this? 158.
Yeah.
First appearance of the Living Tribunal. I have the issue before this, but this is like an issue that I really want. It's once again, like I don't want to give too much spoilers away, but now that movie is out, like this is definitely a book to be getting because it is on a dip right now. And it's just a beautiful cover too.
Yeah, it's on look at that 18% dip, bro.
Yeah,
Perfect book to buy right now, man. You know, beautiful cover too. I bet you got this, Dan. You got this book.
You read my mind again, Ian. Yes, I do have this book. It's a nice 6.0, and it's 6 white pages, and it's signed by Jim Steranko.
Wow. No way.
Damn.
That's a Steranko cover.
That's the Steranko cover, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
It just doesn't look as trippy as it usually is as covers do.
Man, I remember when I think I was at like some garage kind of like comic book pick, and I saw a bunch of these Strange Tales, these early ones, Sterankos, and I kind of passed them up, and I read it now, man. You know, so Steranko, yeah. I mean, you can tell with the clock on the bottom, right? Like it's kind of like a like the sand clock, whatever you want to call those, right there in the corner. That's a Steranko cover for sure. You know
the entire Silver Age Strange Tales run was really underappreciated, undervalued. You can get them in bundles for a steal. That was about a year ago. Now they're all moving up. Although, like all comics, they're all coming down a bit. I would say this is probably the last chance you can get them.
Same way too.
And Submariner, lots of series. Tales of Astonish, Tales of Suspense, the Submariner series. They sat in my boxes and I stored them for years and years and years. Now they're all pretty pricey, although there is a dip. I would probably get this now while you can.
Yeah, I
Yep.
agree.
Yep, and
I know
Rudy
I'm
said he
trying to
needs this
get
book. Rudy, good time to buy this book, bro. Look at that, man, 20% dip. And I don't. Let me see if I brought up the numbers on this. So
I was
usually
telling
I do.
Dan.
I didn't. I didn't bring up the numbers. Sorry, man.
It's
You
all
know,
good,
like
but like just look at the last one that was sold, like for a
75.
raw copy, like less than
Yeah.
$20. Like
that's
that's
looks
a
like
That's
steal.
Dude.
that's ridiculous.
That's
steal.
I
ridiculous. That's
know.
redonkulous, bro. Like,
Because even because I like Tales to Astonish, and I'm working on a run, and like I can't not find a book for that cheap
That sounds like a
at
very
that
pricey
price.
run.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And back in the day, I used to get them like in lots for like $50 for a couple books, and it was good. But
Right,
now it's
right.
like,
Yeah, Kamikaze beat me to it. They are tough to find in high grade because they
oh
weren't thought
yeah,
of as very well. These were when I was collecting back in the 70s and 80s. These were back issue books, almost dollar bin books, and they weren't treated with a whole lot of respect. So finding a really crisp copy is tough to find.
especially
Yeah.
like bright colors like red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh man, the paper they printed these things in and the ink they use, man. No matter what you get, it's going to be a beautiful book, man. I get to see it. You
It
can see
definitely
it
beats
kind
the
of
printing on the current modern stuff sometimes.
whatever it is. I don't know what that stuff is called. It's plastic and whatever oil. It's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst stuff, man. But great pick, great pick, Kirk. And I think I might have to buy this on the dip too, man. If I can get one for $20, bro.
I'm trying to get this soon.
$20, bro. And then my pick, man. So we had a discussion here, man. So let me see here, man. So Not Near Mint says, who that, man? Someone got the Captain Carter 1 in 25. You know what I'm saying? Who was a good or bad idea? So I'm kind of picking. I'm picking this Exiles, man. What was it here, man? This was Peggy as first as Captain America, right? Like when I was watching, I'm not going to give any any spoilers, right? But we had Captain Carter, and she had the British thing on her shield.
Mhm.
And I keep thinking, like, why don't they just call her Captain Britain? You know what I'm saying?
Someone made up that point. Yeah, I heard that point also. Yeah.
Right, because maybe they're gonna have a Captain Britain come in the next couple movies, right? So they're saving that. And they can't bring back Peggy Carter with the damn, the British shield. So why can't we don't have a Captain America no more? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's gonna take? I mean, we do, right? We have what's his name, right? He's a new Captain America, but why
Sam
can't
Wilson.
Sam Wilson, right? But where would she fit in? I don't know, man. So, I mean, I like this book, man. I like this book, with Peggy Carter as Captain America. It saw some big gains, man. This book saw some big gains, and I really dig the cover, and I really just want this book because, for one thing, my boy comic book crackhead, we were at a con, man, and he picked this book up, I think, for $30, man. Like, and I was so jealous, bro. I was just so jealous, man. I was like, you got that book for $30. I saw him making a deal. I was like, how come I didn't look in that box before you, bro? You know what I'm saying? So maybe it's just kind of a FOMO thing for me, but I was looking at the prices for these. So the prices are coming back down, man. It's about $60 to $65, about a $60 book.
And these
now,
are
man.
USD.
This is USD. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was $100 to $120 book for a minute, man. And now it's like half the price,
Jeez.
for Peggy Carter's Captain America. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I'm with Hoodrat. I don't know if he actually bought this book, but this is a book, like I was gonna pay $120 for, but maybe it might be coming down because Peggy Carter's kind of losing steam after what happened in the Doctor Strange, but we know no spoilers, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you guys, if you're on Instagram, you're seeing like, this might be a good time to buy this book. You know what I'm saying?
I can't seem to escape this book on Instagram.
Yeah, but to me, man, it's like she was such a good character, in the movie, and the actress. I mean, the way she popped up, I was like, I mean, for me, that was one of the best. She was one of the best characters that came out of it. I'm like, she's super believable, and I like the little jetpack she had, and I just liked who she was, man, and kind of broke my heart what happened to her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and I can't see Marvel letting her go. You know what I'm saying? I mean, after the popularity of her, and how everybody got excited when they saw her in the we saw a glimpse of her in the in the trailer. You know, I can't see Marvel letting her go. So, you know, like Peggy Carter, man, I'm all in. You know what I'm saying? I'm all in with Peggy Carter, man. What do you guys think?
I am too, and history is repeating itself because Marvel started focusing in on female characters in the 70s and early 80s, ending with She-Hulk, and so they're doing this now in the MCU. So I don't think they're done yet. So I would continue to buy this and other books that are female character related.
Yeah, and, you know, and this is her as Captain America. So we have Captain Carter and we have Captain America. Do you think that makes any difference, guys? I mean, it's hype. What do you think, bro? I know you're a modern genius on these books.
I don't know about genius, but
you know what I'm saying? I mean, you are. You're good. You're great at modern books, man. Like, what do you think, bro? Do you think that it makes a difference that she's Captain America, not Captain Carter in this book?
honestly, I think the waters are a bit muddy just because there's so many books in contention with this whole Captain Carter situation. You have the Exiles 3, you have like the current crop of books that came out with the Captain Carter #1 and the Avengers Forever. It just makes it a very murky situation. Honestly, like if you're in on this character, I would just say the easy answer is kind of hedge your bets and try to get those books, like all of them if you can possibly.
Like not did. He says he got Captain Carter 1 in 25.
Exactly. I didn't even read his comment, and he took the words right out of my mouth. Like you kind of have because in these kind of situations, you never know where the market will end up gravitating towards. Is it going to be this book, or is it going to be that 1 in 25? I know that 1 in 25 right now demands a pretty penny, but you know, especially because these books don't exactly have like a long history. They're fairly new, so the market could sway one way or the other in terms of where they're gonna put their money into. So that's why I would say, listen, if you find this on the cheap, great, but unless you're into this character and you like the character, I wouldn't go deep diving in because it's just personally to me it's a bit of a volatile situation. So like your buddy, if you find it for like $30 at a con or something, that's different, but I personally would stay away from like spending top dollars because also the movie just came out. Just like you know, give it a few like weeks or like a month or so. These books will cool down. It's like a cyclical thing. So we know that she's gonna come in the What If in season 2, and I think she's having her own series, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Give it some time. There's gonna be a lull where you could probably find these books on the cheap. Not cheap, but like cheaper than what they are right now.
And that 1 in 25, man, it was at my shop for like $45, bro.
Yeah,
On the second week, it was still there on the next new comic book day, and I was like, maybe I should get it, and I passed it up, bro. Yeah. I don't see that one dipping down because she's a pretty popular like character with everybody, man. Everybody got a lot of love for her, bro.
Well, you asked, should you get Captain Carter or the British version of that? It could come down to numbers because I'm just looking at the population of Britain. It says here 67 million people. The population of the U.S. is about 350. So it's a numbers game, and the MCU is going to want to sell as many as possible, or Marvel will. So they'll probably focus more on the Captain Carter, the American version of that character. So that means the numbers for that would be more substantial than the British version.
And there you go. I mean, they're just out there, man. They're filming it this winter. You know what I'm saying, on Disney Plus. So she's coming back. You know, I mean, she's coming. She you know, something may. It's not spoiled, but she's coming back. She's coming back.
So if they're filming in the winter, I assume then the release would probably be like what, like the following year, maybe or so. So you might still have a chance to catch this on a bit of a dip.
And here we go, man. Here's Dr. Comics, man. First appearance of Peggy Carter as Captain America. The new book references the first appearance of Captain Carter as Captain Britain. Okay. But I still don't get why they didn't call her Captain Britain in the first place. You know, like, you know.
I like Kamikaze's thinking. Just settle it, get them both, and don't worry about it.
Yeah, so and look at this, man. There's a lot of love, man. There's a lot of love for Peggy Carter, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I said, like, if you catch this on a steal, it's one thing. But if you're all in on this character, you might as well go for both. Again, this is with the mindset that you're invested in this character. That way, you kind of have your bases covered. That's usually how I approach it.
There you go, man. Kamikaze, man. Like, I like Sam Wilson, you know, but I like Peggy Carter a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Comic Zombie's in the house, man. What up, Comic Zombie, man? Welcome, bro. Appreciate it, man.
What's up, bro?
But next, man, What do you got? What do you got for us, bro? And I like this book. I like this book a lot.
So I know there's gonna be some people in the chat rolling their eyes when they see this book because look. So here's the thing. This is Thor #5, first appearance. Well, first full appearance. Let's just call it of the Black Winter because he did kind of have some sort of a cameo in 4. Now, a lot of people have been dogging on this book because when this book got out of the gates, it was like I think a 9.8 was like $300-400,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Yeah.
You don't really see that right off the rip for a book that just came out in a few weeks. And this book obviously cooled down now. It's like raw, it's like about $38, and I think a 9.8 is like probably like 100-150 maybe, if that. Look, say what you will about Donny Cates. The thing is, the dude knows how to hype his stuff. And the thing is, as much as people criticize his storylines and the direction some of his characters take, people still pay attention when he hypes stuff up. And just look what happened with what was it? That Hulk #6. No, that didn't it didn't really pan out the way people expected it to, but they did sell like a lot of copies of it. So, and this also, and we know that Case did mention in Twitter that Black Winter will be coming back because after the first 6 issues of this arc, Black Winter disappeared. But Case did mention like casually to someone's question on Twitter that Black Winter will be coming back, and I almost kind of equate this to Null. If you remember Venom, Kate's run back in 2018, Null was introduced in issue 3, and he was gone after the first arc. And that book also took a bit of a dip. But then when King in Black came back, and then Null was reintroduced, that book had a surge, and I think the 9.8 went for like $300-400.
Mm-hmm.
But then after King in Black was done, that book went like, I'm not gonna say it tanked, but the book dipped. Same thing like with the Black Winter. Like, you're not gonna see him for a while, so it's gonna be on the low. But I'm pretty sure when Cade starts his marketing machine, where he's gonna, tease Black Winter coming, this book is gonna see its light, its day in the sun again. And yeah, so this is a book I'm more picking in terms of like a stash and then flip kind of. I'm not saying pick this because I love Black Winter or anything like that. I'm just picking this book more in the sense of I feel this is a book that you might be able to make some coin off of if you were able to catch this on the low.
Hyper, do you think there might be a reference to this in the upcoming Thor movie?
I don't think so, because the thing is, Black Winter is too fresh of a character, and
I was just about to say,
and the storyline that they're going with Gore the God Butcher, they have plenty of source material to use with the Jason Aaron run. That I don't think they need to go into the Donny Cates Thor run yet. So I feel we won't really be getting Black Winter of any, and plus Black Winter is really, like I said, he's only been in existence for like 4 or 5 issues, so it's not like they have much material to pull off of anyway. So I don't think from an MCU point of view you're gonna get Black Winter. This is just more from like Cates's hype machine when Black Winter comes back in the comics. You know how Marvel does. They're gonna solicit the hell out of it, and then you're gonna get those store exclusives and whatnot, and then people are gonna put those Thor #5s back on eBay, and I just feel that's kind of like the trajectory of this book.
I'm all about the 1 in 25 for this one, bro.
I got the 1 in 25 actually at ratio. Because the thing is, I pre-ordered it before the hype, and so I followed that 1 in 25. That 9.8 for a 1 in 25 was selling for like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Now, I think on a good day, a 9.8 selling for like $200.
I would just buy the 9.8, bro. Like I would just skip all that, man. And try to press it yourself and pray to God that you're gonna get a 9.8, and that person got a little nookie that night, so he's happy to give you a 9.8. I would just buy it. I'm with you on this, Hype. I'm with you, bro. Like, Black Winter's coming back, and in addition to that, man, we're seeing a Necrosaurus, in the new Thor movie, which means we might get Null, and that whole Kate universe might be coming into the theaters, man. If we get Null, the Kate thing is in the theaters, man.
It's gonna because
Yeah.
that's always been the thing. If you get gore, then they got to bring the Necrosword. That's always been. But here's the thing: that's something you might not know. Thor 5 didn't really have many exclusives, so the print run on this wasn't as high as because I think Thor 6 is when they started pumping out store exclusives for this run. So Thor 5, those ratios, those 1 in 25s, wasn't as abundant as like Thor 6 and the subsequent issues when store exclusives started coming out for this run. Because the 1 in 25 is not as heavily printed as you may think for this.
Because I remember when this came out, man, it was like it was kind of a surprise, I think, man. I think it was like everybody knew about like 3 days or 4 days before, so it wasn't an FOC like buy 20 on FOC. It was kind of like hope you get one at the LCS, man. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. I honestly, I just went off of Marvel Solicit. They said something very ominous, where like a new threat or something is coming, and I figure, okay, look, it's Donny Cates. Let me take a chance. Let me just get the 1 in 25 of this, and the future and the next issue or so. So, I think I just based it off the Marvel Solicit when I got the 1 in 25.
Yeah, man. I actually have one, man, and it's I think it's about a 9.8.
Okay.
Probably a 9.6, man, because my guy won't get a nookie. So, it's always that guy, man, that gets me a 9.6, and I'm like, dude. And Dr. Comics said the same thing, man. Black Winter print was count low, was low just because it was a first appearance, man. But I'm gonna show you when it was expensive. So when it was expensive, it's about it. I look at the prices on that, man. Like one went for almost $100, bro.
Yeah, man.
$86, like back in
for a raw.
That is crazy, dude.
That's cover A.
This is on my cool list. Like, this is
wow.
I just want to also highlight Ozzy's comment. The third printing does have like the embodiment of Black Winter on the cover, so that also might be one cover to look out for.
And then check this out, man. And then here we are right now today. There you go, man. You get it for a third of the price. Look at it, $18.99.
Yeah, man. Because the thing is, I have several copies of this book, so I've been tracking the value of this book, so that's why I kind of figure, okay, this is really on the dip. Because when I saw the initial prices, I was like, this is ridiculous.
But he's gonna bring it back, man. Because that's Donny Cates for you, man. Donny Cates, he hypes it, but he'll make it. He'll back his promise up and bring it back, and shoot back up to $100, and then you made $60, man. Or $80.
It's kind of I guess sort of hilarious, but like when they quote unquote killed off Black Winter, which in storyline it made it seem like they did. People were flooding their copies on eBay because they figured, okay, we're done with this. There was a lot of panic selling going on with this book because a lot of people bought this on the high and not thinking that there's a chance it might go on the dip.
Yeah.
I wish I would have sold mine for 100. I kept them all.
Man. I have the whole run, and I like it, but it's just like that could have bought me like some extra Avengers books.
I know, right, man? It's pretty good. It's a pretty whoever so good. Good on y'all, man. You guys got some good numbers on that one, man. But I totally agree with you, man. I'm for you. I'm on this book. Buy this book on the dip, man. But next up, man. I think it's Dan's favorite segment, man. Here we go.
I don't know where you find these clips. That's just great.
So
there's so many good. There's even more good ones out there.
So these are the Hell No books, man. These are the books that we're seeing in the top 10s. Any top 10. I tell the guys, it could be any top 10 in the last 2 weeks. This is a 2 week. We do the show every 2 weeks. You can get it from the app, or you can get it from a show, or you can get it from another app or a website, man. Whatever you want to get, man. And it's a Hell to the Now book that we ain't buying, that we are not going to cash because we know it's like it's probably like a FOMO book, and we ain't into FOMO books. But Kirk, what was your first Hell No book, bro?
Honestly, I had a hard time finding some because a lot of them actually looked appealing, but this one I just wasn't a fan of. I'm not the biggest fan of X-23, but if I was trying to get a cover with her on it, it wouldn't be this one. A lot of the ones where it's like a close up of her are like really good. Just too many dark colors on this one. yeah, I just wasn't a fan of this one. And look how much it's going for, and I'm like,
bitch. Help me with the last name. I know he did the Fallout 4, but
I have no idea. I'm not.
Djevic, I think it's Djevic.
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 Marco D.
Yeah. You know who we need is right now is Newbie.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
I bet John could say it, man. I bet John could say this, man. We're the only ones. He's probably the only one of us can say Djevic.
I believe it's pronounced Djevic.
Look how much this
$430,
book is
bro.
going for, though.
I know. Look at the 9.8, bro. Like,
That's
you crazy,
insane.
man. Look at that.
Is this like a modern run of X-23, like, or is this from back in the day?
This was from 2010.
No, it's showing 2010.
Oh yeah, I cannot do it. Like that's like crazy. I get it. What is it? Is it a ratio?
Yeah, it's a 175.
No.
I'd rather buy her first appearance, man. You know what I'm saying?
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I think
saying? I was
it's
thinking the
100%.
same thing.
You know?
That would be worth more.
I'm so on the hunt for her first appearance.
Or the first run.
Her first appearance is probably less than, what is it going for? 2,500? Her first appearance? You know how
That sounds about right.
it's
I
about
think
2,500. It's cheaper than this, bro. Like,
Yes.
give me her first appearance, man. You know what I'm saying?
Insane.
Well, Hyper, you were talking about you could get a low-grade Avengers 1 on the Kingpin show last week for that same price. I'd take that any day of the week than that for $3,000.
Yes.
Dab knows, bro.
And the thing is, I generally don't. I mean, I'm just at a point in my collecting where I don't really mess with ratios that much. I just find that. Like if you're buying this book as a ratio because of a first appearance, it's one thing. But if you're buying it because it's just solely a ratio book and there's nothing else in the guts of the book, in terms of there's no appearance or nothing, I just find that money could be spent elsewhere. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
No, great.
I mean, unless you're a fan of the artist, like then that's on you.
That's
like,
one thing, but like,
yeah.
I mean, okay, let's be real. How big of a fan are you to spend $3,000?
Right.
I'm not that big of a fan.
And do you expect that value to go up for whoever bought that? I don't see that going up.
Me either, man. You know, I think it's the first time I've seen it too. When you picked it, Kirk, I was like,
yeah,
what the hell is this book, bro?
I just picked it because I didn't like the cover, but like I didn't even realize how much it was going for.
It's a number one, right? There's a number one. So is it that much of a a rare book?
I think
like crazy.
Wait, is the 2010? Is that even her first solo run? I'm wondering.
I think it's her second. It's her second one, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so it doesn't even have that going for it.
It's a number one too. Like I mean, they're. I mean,
wouldn't shops have ordered more copies of the number one? And then isn't that how it normally works? The number one usually gets a ton more copies ordered by the shops, and then they drop off their orders usually for 2, 3, 4. I would figure.
Yeah. So I don't know, man, but I'm with you on this, Kirk, because this is. And my pick, man, is this first appearance of the Scarlet, the Scarlet Scarab, man. I mean,
Scarab.
Scarab, right?
Oh,
Scarab,
I didn't know they had a first appearance in Thor.
Bro, but it's not. It's a dude in this, man. It's not even a lady. So it's like.
But did they borrow the costume, or is it the same costume? Or
it's like what they did. They kind of borrow stuff like in that Captain America. What was the name of that character that they kind of switched up for us? What's her name? The
Flag Smasher.
The Flag Smasher. It was a dude on a bike and whatever he was on, like a space.
Yeah, didn't he have like a tattoo of the American flag on his face or something like that?
Yeah, no, I think you're thinking of the other guy. The guy with the tattoo of the American flag I think his name is Nuke or something.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking.
But I mean, it kind of has nothing to do with like the show, man. Like she's a totally different character. She had a totally different costume, and don't get me wrong, I liked her. I was like, yo, who's this, man? And I kind of looked it up and I was like, oh, there is this. They just kind of pulled this from another book, the name, and just kind of did their own thing with it.
Yeah,
kind of like, but that's what I like about what Marvel does sometimes, because they kind of make it to they modernize it, right? And I don't mind that, like as long as they make the character fresh, and she was dope, man. I liked her. But
isn't that the second Scarlet Scarab?
it's a second. Yeah, it says the first, but this is a second. It's a second Scarlet because the other one's a Silver Age book. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I didn't know that.
I think this is it the this is like a nephew, right, of the Scarlet Scarab, right? Like, is that it? It's just a nephew.
It's a relative of sorts. It might be a nephew.
Yeah, so I'm
it's like in the same lineage, I guess.
guys, let's not hey, Manny's my boy Manny's in the house, man. What's up, Manny?
What's up, Manny?
And then Michelle says, treat this book like the Fist of Khonshu too, in my opinion.
And that's coming from a Moon Knight fan.
Yeah.
You know, right? It's a hell no, bro. Like,
yeah.
I probably have this book, and I'm not gonna sell it because I'm like, dude, I don't even want to sell it, dude, because you know, man, it's not fair because it's a. And then hype. What was your hell no book, bro? And I want to hear. This is interesting. Like, this book is kind of shot up, bro. Go ahead.
I have this run from issues 1 to 6, and if you look at the date when it came out, this was a 2019 run, so this issue came out like in 2020. To think that in 2 years that this book is 3 bills and a 9/8 going for 1,400 is bananas to me.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about a ratio. This is a regular cover, and for the life of me, I'm actually still wondering why it got to the value that it did. And like this book,
no idea,
like this book actually hit like when it hit $100. Even then, I was like questioning, wait, why is this? Because like look, what it has going for is there's a couple of first appearance of these Spider, verse characters, which. You know, that's the whole rage now, right? With the whole Into the Spider-Verse, you know.
Like, he had to come back for this one, bro.
Exactly. So the thing is, you know, the whole speculation with these Into the Spider-Verse characters is which characters are going to show up next in these movies, because we know that it's going to be a 2-parter with the next Miles Morales. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, there's nothing really substantiated in terms of any of these characters actually showing up. That's the thing. So. For people to spend this much money on a book that may or may not have some of these characters is a bit mind-boggling. And the way I look at it is also you know, when you buy a book, you look at the floor and the ceiling. If you're buying a 9.8 at 1,400, how much of a ceiling do you really have at that point?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Like honestly, for three bills, you could probably buy a raw copy of like I don't know how much a raw copy of Ultimate Fallout 4 goes for, but I would assume that. For 3 bills, you could get close to a decent copy of a Ultimate Fallout 4, and a 1,400, at least you could get like a 9.6 of an Ultimate Fallout 4, right? That at least seems like a better move because Miles has a future, whereas these characters, you're kind of almost like you're really rolling the dice on this one. So honestly, and to think that I almost sold this issue 1 to 6 run for $100, and thank God I held on to my copy. But yeah, this is just one of those books that I know the other thing is it has a low print count. That's the other argument for this book. But again, $361. I mean, come on.
But let's look at this, man. First appearances of these are the names, and are these people gonna stick with these names? Okay, Spinster, Sea Spider, Spider Requiem, Garden Spider. Come on, guys.
I'm sorry, that one got me.
Spider Sting. Is that like is that from the police? Like Sting's gonna be a spider?
Yeah, there you go.
Sun Spider. That's a hippie spider. Sun Spider likes to sit chill out.
Oh, wow.
Spider Air, is that Jordan? The Jordan Spider?
Yes, there you go.
And White Widow.
So from my understanding, these were created by like I don't know, fans or other people submitted these names and they created these characters, something like that. Wow. Yeah, man. And the thing is, it's all about opportunity cost, right? Like in economics, like you have this much money. Would you spend it on this book, or would you spend it on a book that has a bit more? Like I mentioned, like the Ultimate Fallout 4 thing.
Right.
That's the way I always like. That's how I try to like make my decisions when I'm buying key books. It's like you could buy this, but you can use that same money to buy something else.
Right.
So again, like look, do what you want with your money, but this is one of those things. It's like. You really are like, if you're buying this on the high end, you're not really giving yourself much of a chance of making much of a profit. I would say if you find this in the back bins, God bless. Like, you hit the jackpot apparently.
Well, I found one in the back bin and I sent it to my boy Manny because he was looking for it. I found it in the back bin, man. I was like, bro, like this is from my homie, man, because like me and Manny help each other out.
Right.
But it was about Manny. It was about like $150 book when I sent it to him. But look at that, $300 doubled, man.
Yeah, man.
14.
And the thing is,
bro, I would sell this sucker so bad. If I had a 9.8, bro, it'd have been on the market, man. Because I would just buy a Silver Age book that I want, man. You know what I'm saying?
I was trying to figure out why it or like it wasn't. How did it shoot from 100 to 300? That still puzzles me. So if I don't have an actual concrete answer why something is what it is, I don't touch it.
I don't know. It's just people are just overhyping it, man. Like I'm looking at the names. I'm like, like, is your kid gonna go? I can't wait to see the next Spider Sting movie. Like, or the Garden
Spider. There, right?
Garden Spider.
You know what I think it is? I think they figure, look, you have this many first appearances. Maybe the rationale is something's got to stick. It's like you throw this many darts, something's got to hit a bullseye.
Right.
I bet there's one hanging in a back bin somewhere in America, though, man. There has to be 2 or 3 in the back bin, man.
I would assume so. Like, if you're one of those avid hunters, you probably might be able to find a shop sleeping on this one.
Or just look in the S section, man. Just go all the way through the S section. You'll find it. You'll find it somewhere. Someone just misplaced it. And it just seems like all these Spider from this run, they're all hot, man. Like the second prints are all like $100 books, and like that one. What is that one? Is it number 1 where like Miles is kind of getting blown away? Like it's kind of like a it was taken from a page in the book. Like that. I was like looking at one like it's $100 book. Really?
I think that's the second print of
Spider-Verse. Just to think about.
Yeah, the second print, right? Like I was like, why is that $100 book, man?
Is the story any good on this run?
I'll be honest. I have the run. I have not read the story, but from what I understand, it was so. It wasn't like critically.
It was alright. It wasn't.
Right,
It wasn't as good as like Edge of Spider-Verse, but it was definitely like it was interesting.
I read it too, man. It was forgettable. You know what I'm saying? Because like,
wow.
I like the one where there was the cowboy Spider-Man. What's that?
He was cool.
Like the Clint Eastwood Spider-Man. I forgot what they call him, man. The web slinger. Is it the web slinger? Right?
Something like that.
I like that one. That book was one of my favorite ones. But other than that, I don't remember the other stuff. I read them too, man. So, Doc, look, hey man, Spider-Man's number 1. Yep, the second print, man. That's the one like $150 book, man. Like I'm like, damn. And then Spider-Verse first appearance of Spider-Zero. Yeah, man. I bet on Billy Morales. She's already gonna show up, man. So but is this a certifiable Nana hype?
Yeah, this is. Big time.
Bro, go buy a low grade like DSX, man. You know what I'm saying? Like $1,400.
Yeah, but buy something that actually has a proven track record. Don't like. I mean, unless you're a big gambler, I don't know.
Yeah, man. There's a big gambler out there, bro. They bought it for $1,400.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money, bro. I'm like, there's no more free money. So where they getting all that money from, man? For $1,400 for a modern book. But yo, man, it's time to sit down. It's time to get out it's time to go on eBay right now because Dan, when Dan brings out a list, you gotta write all that stuff down and try to like race everybody to that book, man. But it's time for Dan's Comic Corner, man. It's time to what, Kurt? It's time to what?
It's time to learn.
There you go. All right, man. Dan, there you go, bro.
Welcome to Comics Corner. I'm Dan De La Torre. A lot has happened in the last couple of weeks, including Ian popping up out of nowhere. And there he is.
Why is it doing that? Because you know why?
Cameo appearance.
Yes, another cameo. All right. Welcome to Comic Book Corner. I'm Dan De La Torre. There has been an awful lot that has happened in the last 2 weeks since our last episode. Let's start right here with a very sad and tragic news of not one but 2 giants in the comic book artist industry, and that would be Neil Adams and George Perez. Both men were incredibly talented, to say the least. They gave us so much over the many years and decades. And many people have given their tributes regarding the cover stories or cover art that they had profiled. I just want to review a couple right here, two of my favorites. There are several to choose from. I just picked two here. The first one to the left is a personal favorite for obvious reasons. Anyone who knows me knows that I love the Defenders. Neil Adams did the cover for Marvel Feature #1 back in 1971. An outstanding cover, and it was a very, very special issue for my favorite team. To the right, for George Perez, again, there were several to choose from. I just picked this one. This is Avengers 184. Look at the proportions on that. That is, by the way, one of my favorite villains, the Absorbing Man. Both men had talent like you can't believe, and especially their passing has affected many of us. But for we older collectors, before cell phones and computers and DVDs and whatever else we had, or what we have today rather, all we had were the images on our comic book pages. And these men helped us guide through the storyline like no other. And we loved them so much, we started collecting them. That's how collecting happened in the first place. Both these men will be missed. Neil Adams was 80. And George Perez was 67 years old. We respectfully move on to our next segment, and that is the Moon Knight series. The Moon Knight series ended on this past Wednesday with episode 6. I love the series, but it did get mixed reviews. Some were very, like me, my friend Newbie gave it, he was very polite, but he said it didn't really fit him, and that's totally fine. Others were pretty savage regarding, it just didn't work for them, and I think that was very unfair. This was a very, very deep and very, very thoughtful and complex series. And regarding my predictions, I had thought that the Ramatut character might show up in episode 5 or 6. Well, that didn't happen because something that they did, which no one expected, myself included. The Moon Knight series was a standalone series. And it was the only one in the Disney Plus series that was a standalone. WandaVision, Loki, Hawkeye, and the Winter Soldier, what was that? The Falcon and Winter Soldier were all interwoven in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Moon Knight was not. Now, what was so special about this episode was a number of things. One, the outstanding, incredible acting of Oscar Isaac. The story sets up where they're setting up the Moon Knight the character by doing a very detailed background. Now, Marvel has had a history of not being afraid to talk about personal dilemmas that we have in society. And they cover things like alcoholism, drug addiction, racism, sexism. And in this particular case, they tackled the subject of multiple personality disorder. Now, what was so special was, in my opinion, episode 5 was the most powerful episode. It covered several things at once. And as an older person in the comic community, I wanted to share some things that you might have missed. And it hit home with me. We see the character Mark Spector as he is dealing with his past. And it goes back to the very beginnings of his difficulties. And he has to endure a number of traumas. The first trauma he dealt with was the death of his brother in a tragic drowning accident. They were adventuring, as many boys do. And think of the trauma that the character has to go through by seeing his brother die right before him, and there's nothing he can do. Sadly, that wasn't where the trauma ended. It continued on when he had to go home and tell his parents that his brother is dead, and seeing the ultimate grief of their parents. As a parent myself, the ultimate nightmare for any parent is to lose your child. I know people that have sadly gone through this. You simply never recover. And the trauma continued in the form of abuse, where his mother, Mark Spector's mother, I believe showed what was called parental favoritism. And I've also seen this in my own family and a number of families where I think she had favored the younger brother or the brother that had died. And so after this trauma, she loses all self-control and starts to take revenge on Spector, and through the form of child abuse. It was a very, very difficult scene to see, but I think Marvel played it very well. We understood what was going on, even though it was very, very disturbing. Lastly, the trauma ended when the character Mark Spector has to see his father not strong enough to deal with his mother, who's simply lost all control. And that's another issue that young people have to go through, where if you as a child, you count on your parents to protect you. And after abuse, trauma after trauma, the character Mark Spector has nowhere else to run except to the only place that he knows that is safe, his own mind. And if you escape into your own mind, there are a number of things you can do. In this particular case, Mark Spector starts creating his own world by creating different personalities, starting with a character called Stephen Grant. Stephen Grant was his way to protect the most special part of himself. And they started to live as this multiple personality in their adult years as he leaves home, because there's nowhere, he doesn't seem to have a home anymore and wants to venture off on his own. All the while, the god Khonshu is observing this whole thing and thinking that this is the perfect subject for his avatar, which we find out in I think episode 3 or 4. This is very, very deep, and this is very, very heavy. But again, seeing the tragedy and the pain that this character goes through really hit home with me. I can't thank Oscar Isaac enough for an outstanding performance. He played several characters all at once. He played them flawlessly. And I look forward to the next episode. If they have an episode 2, there's right now no signing, but I think that this character will be back. But the good news is, if Moon Knight does come back, now that he has made peace with himself and his other selves, he will be a more effective superhero moving forward. And that's, again, what I took out of this whole series. It was extremely moving, and I highly recommend it. And if you haven't seen it, if you looked at it from the standpoint of you just simply wanted action, look at it from a different perspective. I really appreciate this, and I can't thank Oscar Isaac and the whole team that puts this together. And again, I do hope there is a second season of this. Let's move on to the Doctor Strange movie. Now, I had originally thought that I could sort of give a review without spoiling anything, but unfortunately, if I start going down that road, I will spoil it. I mean, there are people that have sort of given the spoiler, so if you want to see that, that's fine. There's only a few things I will say about this movie. First of all, Patrick Stewart, who everyone knows was in this movie. People were wondering when speculation that he was actually going to be in the movie. They thought, no, he can't be in there. He's too old. I think he's pushing 90 years old. Well, again, as an older person myself, I don't plan on dropping dead tomorrow. And there are actors that I've known throughout Hollywood. Hollywood's been around for 100-something years. Some actors are very long-lived. They can live up until 100 or so and act and work all the way up until the last day of their life. If you haven't seen it, do see the Doctor Strange movie, because Patrick Stewart does do an outstanding job because he's such a veteran actor. It is a continuation of WandaVision, and that's as far as I'll go with it. But what really strikes me about this movie, as I said before, was not who showed up in the movie, but who didn't show up in the movie. The MCU couldn't have picked anyone better than Benedict Cumberbatch to play Doctor Strange, and as a Defenders fan, I'm absolutely delighted. I'm hoping that this does lead to the Defenders. There was no suggestion of that from this particular movie. Well, I may see it again to see if I've missed anything. But anyway, I think that this is an outstanding cast. One thing that does strike me regarding first appearances, and Ian brought up the first Brother Voodoo. I'll bring up a book that I wanted to profile, which is a bit pricey. There's Benedict Cumberbatch. Look how perfect that is. That looks like the Defenders Doctor Strange to me. But there was another issue image I didn't want to bring up of someone they called Defenders Strange. That's not the Doctor Strange that I remember. But the book I wanted to profile is a very expensive one, but still, I think, extremely reasonably priced, and that's his first appearance, Strange Tales number 110. That book compared to Tales of Suspense 39 and Journey into Mystery 83, the first appearances of Iron Man and Thor, that's roughly half the price of those respective characters. Now, the MCU has changed the entire back issue and comic book world. Unfortunately, we as people, we are very visual, and the biggest handicap with this particular book is that Doctor Strange himself is not on the cover. That personally doesn't bother me. It was an outstanding read, created by Steve Ditko, I believe in 1963. If you have the means, I would get your hands on this just to say you have one of the deep grails, because the grails in no particular order, would be Spider-Man, the Hulk, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Iron Man, Thor, and in the second tier, if you will, were Daredevil and Doctor Strange. Daredevil number 1 is finally moving up on its own, but I still think Strange Tales 110 is something, again, it's a bit of a pricey book, but if you can get your hands on one, I would. That is my personal copy right there. I got that in 2020 in a bid on eBay. The final price was $702.15. And let me tell you, my heart was pounding towards the end of that bid, because that's literally all the money I had to pay for that. But I can say I have a deep grail, even it is an introductory price. To the right, though, I guess I will throw out one little spoiler. That is the appearance of Clea. And Clea appears, I believe, in Strange Tales 126, another issue you might want to get your hands on. But that is towards the end credits. Next, at the next episode, we probably will get into the Doctor Strange movie in more detail. I do want to go and profile regarding where I think they're going with the MCU, but I also want to have a discussion regarding the sales of comics are going down. The ones you could still get your hands on are the Marvel Silver and Bronze Age, and I want to talk about why, because if you have a better understanding of why the Silver Age and Bronze Age was so popular, you'll understand why the comics are so popular and so expensive. For the Ian Hoodrat Network, I'm Dan De La Torre, and this is Comic Book Corner.
Hey man, I'm with you on that with Oscar Isaac, man. He deserves an Emmy, bro. Because the way he was going back and forth in that last episode where they stayed on him, and it was going back and forth between his two personalities. I was like, dude, like the British accent and the American accent, and then he still had the demeanor of both. I was like, dude, like give this dude an Emmy.
And the one thing I failed to mention in my segment was there's a third persona, the Jake Lockley character, and that will be obviously explored if they have a season 2. But we've seen this sort of thing before with Bruce Banner and the Hulk. The Hulk is Bruce Banner's anger and hatred brought forward in a physical form, and Khonshu sees this in Mark Spector, and so he still has very much control of those two. But he's letting the other two personas live in peace, at least for now. I really hope that they do sign him back to another season. I think it'll be outstanding.
Yeah, let me see here. Let me see. Michelle said she's split on the series as a whole. Part of me really enjoyed it for what it was, and part of me just disappointed when I looked through the Moon Knight fan lens. It was nothing like the comic books, man. I mean, it was more like the Lemire, the Lemire run. Yeah, than anything. You know what I'm saying? Like the rest was kind of like they just kind of pulled, right? Hyping, and they kind of
I would love to see more of like Bushman. That's what I was, because I read like the first 2 runs of Moon Knight, and that's a character I would love to see on the camera.
Well, it was heavy. The whole series was heavy, and you could say the same thing about WandaVision, because Wanda was very heavy. Wanda goes through her tragedy, and what does she do? She goes into herself using mystic powers, creates this entire world to herself, as opposed to Spectre going into his mind, creating a world. She literally creates her different world, and look how that turned out. So, and that wasn't for everyone either. People were complaining about it, that it wasn't what they expected. When Falcon Winter Soldier showed up, that was more down to earth, more, good old fashioned action, which is what most people really appreciate. But I think that they've set the groundwork as perfectly as they possibly can. I think Moon Knight, I'm hoping he has a long future in the MCU. But again, first things first, let's get season 2 up and running.
Well, the thing is,
Go ahead.
I mean, with the whole Bushman thing, correct me if I'm wrong. When he was explaining how how he became Moon Knight to Layla, with the whole situation in Egypt, did he drop the name Bushman at some point? I feel like he did. He did, right?
He did.
So the thing is, I just feel like Marvel wouldn't do that unless they had some inkling of an idea to bring him in. It just seems like otherwise they would have just glossed over that, and they could have went another way in his origin, because like Hoodrat mentioned, they kind of took liberties in terms of how they did certain parts of Moon Knight on the TV show versus the comics. So it's not like Marvel is trying to stay completely accurate with the comics. And I think that's partly why I guess I enjoyed it more so than some of the mixed reactions, because and I mentioned this in the Kingpins, like for these MCU shows, I'm almost taking it as a separate entity where I'm trying to view it more as a show first that pays respect to the comics, but I'm not looking for accurate representation. If you take it as a show from episode 1 to 6, it did its job and it got me engaged. Like there was no, there's certain shows in the MCU like Disney Plus where there was like Loki. I'll be honest, like the middle episodes kind of was a bit of a drag for me.
Right.
I found like the beginning and the end is where things picked up. Whereas in this case, 1 through 6, I found the script was tight, and for the most part, it got me engaged from. And I think, like you guys all mentioned, if any other person was cast as Mark Spector, Jake Lockley, who's the third guy? Oh my gosh.
Oh, um, um, Stephen Grant.
Stephen Grant, yeah. If any other guy was, if they picked the wrong casting, that show would have fell flat on its face. So it was crucial that Oscar Isaac hit it out of the park with this performance.
Well, Isaac produced it. I'm certain he had a pretty big hand regarding what the direction of that particular character and storyline was going to do, because Isaac knows what he can do as an actor. And if I remember correctly, I think Tom Hiddleston also had a pretty significant role regarding the direction of the Loki show. So, it all depends on, what the MCU allows and doesn't allow. I know they don't dovetail with the comic stories word for word, right? Which they have. They base it on that. We'll talk about this in the next episode. They have a baseline for where to start, but then they have their own little flair. Most times it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it just doesn't grab people. But the Moon Knight story grabbed me from episode 1. I'm sad that it's over.
I gave up on this. I gave up on the comic perspective. Right. Once I saw the Mystic suit, I was like, okay, they're not going there. They're going a different direction. I'm just gonna live with it and go with it, and not even try to forget what happened in the comics, because they're not going there. Right. I mean, even when you saw Stephen Grant, even when you have Stephen Grant, he's supposed to be the millionaire pimp boss. Like the millionaire, the
playboy.
Playboy. There's nothing like it. I kind of gave up. I was like, okay, they're gonna do it. I'm gonna ride with y'all. This is go.
And the thing is, and to your point, Hoodrat, about Oscar winning an Emmy, I thought the same thing too. Once the series was over, but my only thing is, unfortunately, I don't know if the Academy even takes comic. Like, I think we're still at the point where Marvel movies and series aren't taken as seriously. I know that Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture, but I almost feel that was like a token nomination, to be honest.
I think you're right.
I don't think there was ever really a legitimate chance for any of these movies to actually win, unless it's like visual effects or something. So I just wish these movies, like the critics were a bit more different, like when they're actually viewing these movies, and not so much just looking at them just as a comic book movie per se, and just looking at them as a show.
Hyper, I agree. My personal view of Hollywood is there's a snob factor. There's an elitist factor. They look at their own, they live in their own world, and they don't appreciate anything that's science fiction driven. They never have, and I don't think they will, at least not in our lifetime. But the one other thing I'll say about that is that if you're a producer of something like Moon Knight or Loki show, or even the Doctor Strange show, you have to appeal to everyone, not just comic collectors.
Right.
One of the things they have to do, so if someone's showing up for the first time, they've never seen they know nothing about these characters, their job as a producer of a movie is to make them entertained. And so I think they do a pretty good job overall. Excuse me. And I think with this particular one, this was a very, very heavy series. And I can't argue with anyone like Newbie or anyone else who didn't appreciate it or didn't. I don't want to be too critical, because he's a friend, and he was very fair with his assessment. But it got to me. I really loved it, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to see it again.
You know what I do though sometimes, like just so that I kind of come out of my comic bubble. What I'll do is I'll watch these reaction videos on YouTube of people that don't know much about the comics, just to get some perspectives from their end.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I was going to say I didn't know that was out there.
Yeah. No,
I was gonna say the same thing.
The thing is, some like I follow some of these guys just because they do entertaining reactions to some of these shows, and that in itself is a form of entertainment for me. But you look at some of these people that profess that they know nothing about the comics and all that. I just wanted to get their insight into how they're looking at these shows, and for the most part, this show has been getting a lot of good reviews. I haven't really seen many people really dogging it. The only people that have been the only people that have been really dogging this show is the people that either I mean, look, I get it. Like, if you're a diehard Moon Knight fan, you have certain expectations on how the show should be played out. But like I said, I'm at the point where I've come to accept the fact that the MCU have their own blueprint of how they're going to be shaping their characters. As long as it makes for an entertaining product, I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean, it bugged me, Mr. Knight. You know, Mr. Knight is more of like a smooth operator. You know,
Mhm.
like that bugged me. You know, because I'm a fan of Mr. Knight, man. But I had to let it go. I
Yeah.
had to let it go. I had to let it
Yeah.
go and just kind of go with what they're going for. And I'm just like, okay, they're setting them up. Like at the end, Mr. Knight was kind of kicking butt, man. I was like, okay, here we go. You know, like they're setting it up. You know, they're giving us in small like increments, right? Like,
Well, not everything Marvel does turns to gold. I've been very critical of the Captain Marvel
Right,
series. I
right.
didn't care for Brie Larson, but there was another one. I'm the huge Defenders fan. They did a Defenders Netflix series which had nothing to do with the Defenders. I didn't bother to watch it because their characters were wrong. So I mean, if some people really like it, and that's great. That's fun for them. But as an aficionado, if you're going to do something like the Defenders, do the actual Defenders.
Oh, I think Dan, because you're speaking of like what they did was they did a modern take on the Defenders in the comics. I think in the early 2000s with those same characters like Luke Cage.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
right.
Netflix one, yeah. I
Right,
like that
right.
run with the Defenders. It was a pretty good run.
it was a short run,
Defenders.
but yeah, it definitely wasn't the Defenders you recall that.
Old school.
I was taking it personally. I probably shouldn't. It's probably a fine show. I just never watched it because Defenders is Doctor Strange, the Hulk, the Submariner, and the
Right.
Silver Surfer.
The OG.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
you must be happy though, because wasn't Clea? Isn't she a Defender too? Like in the old school
Oh, yeah.
comics?
So was Moon Knight, actually. Moon Knight was a great
Yeah.
Defender.
Yeah.
I mean, she was 47, 48, 49, and 50.
When I saw her, I was like, Dan might be happy, man. We might actually get the old school Defenders, you know? Like, it's kind of shaping, it's kind of getting there, you know, like it's shaping up to be something.
The seeds are kind of placed, yeah.
Yeah, so hey man, but one more segment, man. This is gonna be a good one. You guys are gonna like this one because me and Hype, we're speculators, you know, but I need to flesh this out, man. It's something that was on my mind for a minute, man. So let's get to it. So this is a Downer
I like
Clown.
this segment.
Yeah, this is a Downer Clown segment, man. This is like if you're down with it or you're not. This is kind of where we discuss things. I'm gonna bring something up that's, you know, like as being a speculator that I am, you know, like I'm kind of like it kind of ruins everything for me. So I want to ask you guys. So speculation is ahead, right? So this is I kind of stole this. I couldn't take out that can't stock thing.
Yeah.
It's perfect, man.
Yeah, it is.
Is there a thing for over speculation, man? Because
Yes.
when I watched like Doctor Strange, none of it surprised me. I was like, that's the way I thought it would have went. You know, like it was like there was no surprise. Even Clea showing up, I was kind of like, I had it in my head because I'm like, let's give Doctor Strange some love. So it didn't surprise me, man. Like none of Doctor Strange surprised me. I kind of, you know, spoiler alert, I knew kind of Wanda was gonna go mama bear and kill everybody, you know, like, you know, one by one. And when I was watching, I was like, none of these fools are gonna survive, man. Wanda's gonna tear each one of them up, man. It was like, and I want to ask you guys, man, like, is over speculation killing us as like comic book watchers of movies? You know, like, and I want to ask Hype first because I know you're a speculator like me, man. Is it killing us as moviegoers and as like you know, Disney Plus watchers? Is it killing it, man? Is it killing it? Is it killing all of us? Because there was nothing unexpected in Doctor Strange. I want to tell you, there's nothing for me. It was nothing. There was none. I was kind of going through. I was like, I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was, and I was kind of like, I was hoping Disney would kind of like throw a boomerang at me and be like, bam, like you didn't see that shit coming. But I was like, I seen it coming. I was ducking the boomerang. Like, hey, I knew it. You know, like, Hype, what do you think, bro? Do you think that over speculation is killing us as like moviegoers?
For sure.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just going to draw from personal experience. And I think this is why I've been able to enjoy these shows and movies as of late. I've been trying to take like, and this is just my own collecting habits as of late. You mentioned that I am a speculator. I would say that I've really curbed down on my speculation, and now I'm just going for books that's just for the PC. I do speculate here and there, but I just find that over speculating to the point that like when you have certain eggs in one basket on certain characters and certain things, how it's going to play out, and they don't pan out, you might get a visceral reaction in terms of this movie is crap. Basically, you skew your perception on certain movies and shows because you're more into the speculation rather than the actual content that's being brought out. This is what kind of hurt some of the shows like WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier. I find that a lot of those shows got unfair criticism because people were banking on certain characters like Mephisto and all these other characters, and when those people didn't pop up, suddenly the show ain't shit because you didn't exactly get your way, or you didn't.
Yeah.
Basically, the director didn't follow your direction, if that makes sense. Like, the thing is, sometimes I think we kind of have to. I think we're better served if we sometimes just treat ourselves as the audience and not so much going behind the curtains and trying to get into that creative mindset and saying how this is how things should go, because it's almost like sometimes you just kind of enjoy the journey and just see where these plots and storylines take you. And I just find that you'll be a lot less stressed about when these storylines come out, and you won't be so wound up when things don't go your way.
Dan, what do you think, man? What do you think about over speculation, man? Is it running too rampant, or?
It certainly affected the market in a big way, especially the heavy hitters who have the means to buy the multi-million-dollar books. Now, no one else can get them because they're doing it for their own investment. Mm-hmm. That's a whole different subject. But it doesn't affect me. It does affect me as a collector because I rarely speculate. In my entire collection, I have maybe 3 or 4 books that I've spec'd on. But it was my decision to buy them. If they go up and down, that's on me. I have the luxury that I buy because I truly have this deep love and passion for my comics. I probably love them too much, so that the speculation doesn't affect me as much. I feel bad for the people though that do want to get a book because they love it and it's now priced out because of this speculation and over speculation. It's kind of like in a way, it's like betting on a sports team. You're thinking this team is going to win. And then the MCU or the DC universe produces something that is just awful, doesn't go anywhere, and the hard-earned money you put into it it evaporates. It's heartbreaking, but it comes with the territory. That's why I've always said, be very careful with your finances. You make certain everything's in order. Do not put this as your 100% only investment. That's a huge mistake. There's an old saying, but it's very relevant. Do not put all your financial eggs in one basket.
Yeah, man, it's like comic books in general and movies have become like a dopamine rush, right? Like we're kind of addicted to this dopamine rush, like it's like we're betting on a horse race. Like we have all our books in a row. Like, yo, which ones am I gonna sell next? Which one's gonna show up? And the thing about it is like the books aren't even as expensive when that character shows up. The books are more expensive when we're speculating on it. Like it's like the dopamine rush is over once that character shows up. Like look at Captain Carter. Like the dopamine rush is over, man. That book is dumping, as we've seen in Exiles. It's not going to hold that, especially at 125. It's not going to hold that price, whatever price it's at. That $300-400 price is going to probably go up at half in like 2 weeks. And we're paying for it we're paying for it out of our pocket.
Well, but also there are rare times like episode 6 of Loki, the Kang speculation lasted for months, but it has tapered to somewhat. We'll talk about that in 2 weeks, but I thought there'd be more reference to Kang in this movie. But that's cooled off. That'll come back.
Perfect. It would have been perfect for Kang to do at least a little show up in there.
Easter egg or something.
Right, man. He didn't, and then look, there's Javit, and he said 100% modern spec, especially is killing the game. And don't worry, Jaw's gonna be back next week. He just had to work today, man. He's still part of the show. He's still part of the show, man. Don't worry,
we miss you, man. We miss you, Jaw.
Jaw's coming on the Wednesday show. He's gonna be on the Wednesday with us.
Oh, sweet, nice.
A lot of, if you want to come on, anybody's welcome to the Wednesday show. There's an open link, so. Yeah, man.
I'll say this much about speculation. Look, there's nothing wrong with speculating.
Yeah.
But I look at it as like when you're hitting the tables at the casino, like whatever money you put in, you kind of have to be comfortable thinking that it might not pan out. So don't, like Dan said, like don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like if you're one of those people that's gonna be checking the values of your book day in day out, you're probably doing something wrong because you're too stressed and you're too wound up. So. Speculate to the point where the hobby's still fun. Otherwise, you're gonna get jaded. by not just the shows, but you might just get jaded from the whole hobby in general, and
Right,
you might just
right.
dip out. So.
You only have so much dopamine, man. Like like sometimes it's just gonna run out, and you're gonna get, you're gonna get burned out with comics, man. But Kirk, man, what do you think, bro? Because you're a true reader, bro. You're not a speculator like us, man. So what do you think?
I'm definitely not a speculator,
Yeah.
and I'm one of those collectors that y'all are talking about that get screwed out, that are just trying to like read the book, and this Black Panther 3 is now like $20-$30 book, and I'm like, I'm not trying to pay that. Like,
yeah,
it's $100 book. Like, I can't do it. Like. So, like I said, if you're trying to speculate to make money and flip books, and you're trying to buy books for your collection, then that's cool. But if you're speculating on books, I mean, I collect for the history. I want a piece of history in my collection, so that's why I collect. I don't collect, I'm trying to slang some books, but this that also pays for the hobby too for a lot of people.
Yeah, man.
Get bigger books. Like I haven't got any of those big boy books, yet. I got some nice books in my collection, but there's bigger books out there that I want, but that I would probably have to sell some books to get, and that's okay. But I'm like, for people that are just like speculating on to make the market hot for that book, so they can pay for their collection. That's like,
yeah, and then look at Rudy, man. He says he just buys facsimiles, but those facsimiles are.
They're heating up too, some of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
The 181, that one is like a $30
crazy.
book now.
Actually,
the Blade one, bro, the Doom 10, that's a $30 book too, bro. Like,
the Miles Morales reprint, facsimile.
It's funny.
That'll be a $30 one in no time soon. Go ahead, Hype.
I was just gonna say, this weekend I was actually supposed to do this past weekend, but because of Mother's Day I couldn't. But there's a guy that hit me up on Facebook that he saw one of my ads. He wanted my New Mutants 98 facsimile that I put up for $20. So
yeah, wow. Man, it is, bro. Like the facsimiles are crazy too, bro. Like I mean, just take let me see, what's that? ASM 101, right? What's his name?
I had the
Mobius.
I have
the silver one. The second print. That's $100 book, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm telling you, it's $100. Bro, I found it in a bin, and I took it to the counter, and the guy goes,
"They do the eBay thing."
The guy goes, "This is not $4.99." I was like, "I know it's not $4.99, but you have it for $4.99." He goes, "Nah, man. Gonna charge you $60 for it." I'm like, I'm good, bro.
That's too bad.
If I had a stack of books, I hate when people do that. Just leave the whole stack there and just walk out.
This one too, man. And New Mutants 98. That facsimile it's about a $10 book, man. $12 book.
It's crazy.
But this is one thing I was thinking about, man. And me and Dan always brings this up, man, about the economy, man. So over speculation to get rich quick syndrome. That's what we were talking about, right, Kirk? Like margin buying, I call margin buying like you buy 25 those Captain Carter #1s, right? The Captain Carter. There is no regulation on speculation. Like, so every show has their thing, their book, their character that they want to be first, right? They want to be first to announce that I got the speculation, so they're going to keep saying it over and over again, right? And this is what I call panic selling, right? So we're in a shaky economy, and I think this economy, this what we're going through is going to be a lot different than what we've been in before, because I think people are going to actually have jobs, but they're not going to be able to pay for anything because of inflation. We all have jobs, but I went to go buy avocados because I eat avocados in the morning. I went to bro, this is crazy. I went to Costco to get my avocados before they were like $4.99. It's $15 for.
They're expensive, dude. Because I go to Costco's to get my avocados, and they actually went up by a couple of bucks. I remember. Yeah.
They're at my Costco. They're $15. I'm like, what the hell?
My wife and I are shopping like it is the Depression of 1929 and 1930. We're looking for deals. You have to be the smart shopper. 2 days ago, it cost me $150 to fill up the gas tank in my truck because of $6.30 gallon gas. and it's
insane.
going up from there. We're going to think that's the cheap gas here
You
in
got
California.
$6.39 up there. in the Bay.
$6.30. Yes,
the
here in
heck?
Sonoma. It's a
Sonoma,
joke.
that thing,
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
still at 5. We're still at 5.60 over here
Yeah.
in San Diego. It's not that bad, but damn.
Yeah.
In Hawaii, where all my cousins are, they're saying they're paying $12 a gallon. You know, like
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, $12 a gallon, bro. It's double.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So like
yeah.
we're gonna have jobs, but we're paying more for for products, and for gas and electricity and all this other stuff. So there might be a lot of panic selling going on with all these books,
Right.
And then I'm not saying a crash in our economy, but a crash that might occur because of over speculation and everybody margin buying, which is like betting that all margin buying is just betting. You're either betting that a stock is going to go up or a stock's going to drop, and you can buy it super cheap. If the stock goes up, you got to exit high
Right.
or exit low or get short squeezed, right? You know what I'm saying? So, and what I'm saying is like people might just start selling their books on the cheap because they can't afford a loaf of bread, but they can't
Right.
afford gas to get to
Yeah.
work, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and prices are going to dip, and we're seeing it now. We're seeing a bunch of keys like drop. I mean, look at Brother Voodoo. That book shouldn't be where it's at right now, half price at less than $200. Like that's crazy to me, and that's just telling me like people have to pay for gas, and I think that's the biggest thing. People are going back to work and commuting, and they have to pay for gas to get to where they need to be.
Mhm.
And I would hate to see a crash in like the comic book market because of us over speculating, us betting on different books, and like I mean, what do you guys think? Dan, come on, help me out, man. I know you're thinking of the same thing, right?
Well, I had predicted this a year ago that the acceleration in the comic market would level off. Then it would start to taper off on many comics, not so much the deep grails, but we're seeing this across the board in lower keys and collectible issues. But keep in mind, though, during every recession, and I think we are in a recession, we won't know. Recessions, they name it afterwards. You have to have 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, which we are experiencing
we
right
had
now.
we had a first one of negative
Right, and we're going to have another one too. There's no avoiding it. And so
and you know what's crazy about it is it was we had robust hiring, but we still lost GDP. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's crazy because of inflation. That means there's more money in the market, right? Like
that's the only good news. There are jobs out there, and that's good. That as opposed to the depression where there were no jobs. That's another story. There were jobs, but only if you were in a specialized trade or something. That the daily laborers didn't have much work. Mm-hmm. But you're going to pay more and get less, and that's just the way things are with any collectibles market, including comic books, antique furniture, everything across the board. Recessions are the worst time for anyone that has anything collectible. Now they're not going to be worth nothing, all right? No. They are going to drop off. There's always someone out there that wants your comic, even if it's a dollar comic. It still has some tangible value. But people, as you say, if they fall into financial hardship, they're going to be selling their comics. And sadly, that's the market. And that if you have the means, this is an opportunity for you to pick up these comics that you couldn't afford a year or so ago.
And I might not be the only one, guys, but I kind of cut back on my new comic book day stuff because I need money for gas.
Dude, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. So,
right.
The thing is, I cut back on new comics more. So, I just had to reassess certain things, and in terms of you kind of got. I always make this comparison. Like, when you start off in this hobby, you'll go through cycles of how no one collects the same from like point A to point B. Their collection usually evolves. So like when I started out, like I wanted to get my pull list was massive because I just I jumped right in, got both feet wet, and I was just kind of grabbing titles here and there. At a certain point, when you start filling those long boxes, you kind of have to take a step back and kind of reassess things. So right now I'm at a point where, all right, I got to start reading some of these backlogs of issues, and I'm focusing more on books that I actually have to set a goal for, so that I'm not just like spreading myself too thin and possibly burning myself out in the hobby. And I mean, in terms of like the whole crash and all that, it's like with penny stocks and like with anything volatile. Like when a book spikes, it's like the rubber band effect. Anytime something spikes drastically, you have to expect that there's going to be like a come down. That's why people tend to always. There's a reason why certain books are called blue chip keeps, because they've had is intrinsic value for like decades, and they have a certain floor established that even during like there was a study done that like FF1, even during the 2008 recession and all that, that book still more or less maintained its value throughout, the years. So I'm not saying that like they're completely bulletproof from recession, but there are books that have, that weathered the storm and basically have proven its value.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that when you start putting your money in a lot of these spec books, so to speak, it's like penny stocks, man. Like you could catch a win, but you could easily catch a loss, like in the same token. So that's why you kind of have to. That's kind of where I'm at right now, where I'm cutting back on the new comics because I have certain books on my radar, and just like with Mindshift said, I do sell books, but not enough to kind of fund the hobby. So I kind of have to find other means. And in my case, I had to kind of curb new comic book day books to kind of fund some of those gold books.
Yeah, I'm the same way too, man. I mean, it's just like I had to cut a couple $100 off my new comic book day because I was going to cut it off my food or my gas or
right.
the important things, that you have to take care of your family with, So, I mean, I'm doing it. Hype is doing it. Are you doing it too, Kirk?
Yeah.
So you think about that, like what's going to happen to the, comic book industry in general if three of us, and I know Dan doesn't buy the new comics, so right, Dan, you're not in the new comic book stuff, right?
I put my toe in the water last year. I got lucky, got a few decent comics, but it really, I was, to be honest, I wasn't impressed. They were nowhere near as good as what I grew up with Silver Bronze and Copper Age. And you know what? There's something to be said for appreciating what you already have. If I stop today, I have a collection that most people would be envious of. I mean, as a collector, I still want more. But I also have to appreciate. Hey, you know what? I've got a great collection. I've been very blessed. I've got nothing to complain about. But my job here on this show and others, if I can help share my experience with people, that's great. But I wouldn't say stop buying. I'm just saying be more cautious than you would be normally because I don't see this economy getting better anytime soon. We could be dealing with this for quite a number of years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially with the rake hikes and all that stuff, those are never good. I remember the Bush era, those rake hikes, man.
Oh, I remember the Jimmy Carter 70s and early 80s. Interest rates were 23%. Try to imagine buying a car or a piece of property with 23% interest rate.
Just imagine, guys, we were at zero. Right. Basically, 0.5. Yeah. We're at 5 now. Like to buy a house, that means housing prices have to dip because people can't afford
for the interest
rates. Interest rates, so they're going to have to dip. So everything's going to. I mean, what do you think? I mean, we're supposed to get like 3 more hikes. In the next year, man. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy, man. As a person that invests, I know Dan knows about it. We've been through this. We're older, so I've been through this. So like. You kind of know what to expect, but it's different because inflation is so rampant, you you can't buy what you used to with the same amount of cash.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you earn $60,000, it's more like you're earning like 35 now.
And you would have to hope. Yeah. And you would have to hope that wherever you work, that your salary kind of gives you like the raise to match inflation, which unfortunately, if you're working like if you get hired, it's a different story. But if you're working in the same company, chances are in this rate, like maybe your salary might not catch up to inflation, unfortunately.
Hype, how's the economy in the Canadian market?
I mean, like, look, we're definitely feeling it. The funny thing is, like, I'll just speak from my company personally. It feels like we are hiring people, but at the same time, I can't speak in terms of salary progression and all that because like it could be a case where I just question if like average raises are gonna match inflation, which normally isn't the case, right? Inflation always, if it's very, I don't want to call it hyperinflation, but when inflation really starts ramping up, more often than not, most workplaces have a hard time catching up to the rates, which is why, to Hoodrat's point, your dollar doesn't have the same buying power as it used to. But there is one thing I wanted to mention, because you were asking about how like the current comic market, like, you know, with a couple of us kind of curbing back on e-comic book day. I do find though that lately I've noticed that a lot of these comics, they seem to be geared towards newer readers in terms of there's a lot of start and stop series. You're not seeing a lot of series have those 50, 60 issue runs anymore. It feels like there's a lot of condensed runs, and I feel that it's done by design so that they could bring in a lot more newer customers. So
yeah. And you know, like what you were saying about like if your salary can keep up with inflation, that's not good either, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to take more money out of the market so that the dollar can be worth more. So if you put more dollars in a market, it inflates the market more. So we're in this kind of crazy situation.
It's a bit of a
it's a catch-22 if you can keep up with inflation, because if they were to give me $20,000 more, that means inflation's going to go up another 30%. You know, like.
Right.
You know, it's a crazy situation where they're trying to like balance like taking money out of the market but not starving us, you know, but at the same time prices have to come down as you're losing more cash, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I mean Governor Newsom, he had this crazy idea like he's going to give us $400 to you know, pay for gas. Remember that, Dan and Kirk? That was the dumbest thing ever, because you give me $400, I'm going to buy more gas. You know what I'm saying? Which means the price of gas is going to go more. There's more demand. You know,
I never got any stimulus check. They never showed up at my door, not one of them. So, and this whole thing's been mismanaged. When you throw out trillions of dollars, that's money you have to pay back. And we're paying it back in the sense of higher inflation. You're paying more money, and you're not getting anything back. The debt hasn't gone anywhere. The only, I don't know if it's good news, but we're all kind of in the same boat. Canada's in the same boat. Europe is in the same boat. China's in the same boat. And all governments are manipulating their money, and they're doing so because everyone's in debt, including the government. So they're keeping interest rates artificially low so that they can pay off their debt much easier. But I don't see us coming to an ultimate crash. I think things are going to get worse before they get better. All I'm saying is that with the comic market, this is what makes me happy. You need things to make you happy, whether it's comics or family or whatever. There is a true happiness and love I have for comics. And no matter how bad the day is, I come home and I read. And it's just even having the comics. It's really hard to describe the feeling of having something. Like Hype, you just got two grails. You got Hulk 180 and 181. And you were emotional, got it. We're just as emotional having our comics here. So, but there's a great happiness that you have. That's why I'm saying, don't stop buying. Just be very, very careful.
And you want to know something? I never regretted buying on the dip. So, you see those books go down. If you really want them, buy them, because they're going to go back up. It's
at some point. At some point,
you know. At some point, you know. So
that's the difference between buying something on the whim, and then you kind of buy it, and then you kind of get that FOMO, versus buying after doing much research, especially like for certain books like the ones that Dan mentioned. There's no way that you can't do research before buying those books. You don't want to just buy off the first seller that you meet. So yeah, and like Dan said, like you want your collection to bring you happiness. You don't want to look at your collection and you have resentment towards it because you put this much money, this many dollars into it, thinking it's a waste. You at that point, you're kind of doing something wrong. You just kind of have to fix your priorities, I find.
Yeah, you're probably, you know, I mean, buy what you love. Right now is the time to buy what you love and the books you want, not to show off on Instagram, you know, because right now it's like, you know, especially the new comic book day thing. I mean, I just see them bringing up, I mean, I hate to say it, man, with inflation going on, they'll probably comics are going to probably cost $1 more, you know, like in a couple quarters, you know, like, so, I mean, with us, all three of us buying less new comics, that means they're not getting the margins they need. So what do? You raise a price for the people that are, you know, so
unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. But so Jaw said, I'm going to go to the chat, man, because there's some interesting stuff here. So Hot Jaw says the buyer's market for sure, man, right now.
Yes.
And Comic Ozzy says, we also have a new floor for so many books. They all were super inflated. Yep. That past year. And from here, I see growth in key books, because that's the books I'm going to buy, man. You know, those are the books I'm shooting for right now. Like, I've been waiting for the dip for a minute, man. You know, like I'm waiting still. So Dan and I would buy all kinds of books for 20 cents, no problem back in the day. But what was 20 cents worth a lot back in those days, and like in the 70s and 80s? It was probably worth a lot, right?
My first comic was Hulk 197 back in 1976, and as a boy, like any kid, you only have so much money. If I had $3 and comics are 25 cents, you only could buy so many books. You couldn't buy everything off the rack. And I had to make a decision, and my decision was Marvel Comics because I like the stories better. But yeah, that was a lot of money back then. Now, of course, $3, that would be one book. That's all I'd be able to get to. Actually, no, they're $3.99 a book, right? Aren't they?
Yeah.
What's the new comic now? $3.99.
$3.99. Some are $4.99, $7.99 for some, right?
Unless you're Todd.
Yeah, DC definitely went up. I think like some image books are like still like $2.99.
Yeah, the Spawn books,
Todd
McFarlane's Spawn books.
Yeah.
And you never know what they're gonna do with this paper shortage too. I mean, that might be their next thing why they're gonna be raising prices too. And Sinister, hey, welcome Sinister. I think it's the first time I've seen you join the chat, man. Appreciate you. Been buying monthly comics for 30 years, bro. Like,
yeah,
you're gonna keep doing it too. Hot Job man says there are more options to buy comics. So there you go. There's more comics, like more to buy from and more other places to buy from, cons, eBay, whatnot, claim sales. LCS is auction site, supply and demand. Then some industries have definitely felt a hit while others have prospered. Cost of living, bro. I mean, look at the gas, man. The gas has went up like 100%. 100% over, at least here in California. Center says there are plenty still people buying monthly comics, man. So,
well, the other thing too is that the inflation is going up, but so is gas and diesel prices for shipping. Everything has to be shipped, and the trucking industry right now is suffering, and that is a very, very bad sign. If the trucking industry goes, everything is shipped by truck in large measure. If that goes down, you're going to be paying an awful lot more for every single thing that you buy because it has to be shipped from A to B. And the one paying it is everyone here, and everyone in the chat will be paying a lot more for literally everything.
Well, that's the thing. Like when I send stuff on, like when I sold certain stuff on eBay and all that, like usually when I go to the post office, it's the fuel charge that really gets you.
Yes.
And the thing is, and I just kind of played around with the weight, even if I increased it by like a couple of 100 grams, it really didn't make much of a difference in the cost because, like I said, the bulk of it came from the fuel.
Yeah.
Yep. And the way I kind of look at inflation is look at the Big Mac. The Big Mac's a big one to look at. If they raise that up for $1, we're in trouble. Right? I mean, they haven't raised it yet, right? But if that goes up by $1, there's so much things going into a Big Mac. It's like shipping, the cost of feeding cattle, food, and all this other stuff. So like, the dollar. Look at if the Big Mac goes for $1, goes up $2. Dang, man, inflation's rampant.
Or worse yet, Popeye's chicken, and Hyper is in real trouble.
Oh yeah, listen, I will burn this place down if Popeye's chicken starts.
Yeah, man. Just keep what's the chicken sandwich at right now, bro? The spicy chicken sandwich.
You know what? I always get the family meal, but I think it's like $4.99, I think, or $3.99, right?
Bro, when I was living in Oakland, right? Like this is like, this is like 15 years ago. The one out there in Jingletown, Kirk, the Popeyes out there in Jingletown.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Remember it used to be like 2 pieces for 99 cents.
Is that near Lake Merritt?
Yeah, it's over there in the Fruitvale district. Jingletown's.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I wonder how if they're still having those 99 cents days.
It's like $2.99 now.
It went up $3, bro.
Yeah, I can't imagine 99 cents being a reality at this point.
No.
Oh, I grew up in that neighborhood, by the way. That's 35th Avenue, right? At 35th MacArthur.
Yeah.
I grew up. That's my childhood.
So Jingletown, man. Because I remember me and my wife, it would be like Tuesdays, right? Was it Tuesdays at 99 cents day?
Yeah.
We go to the gym.
Yeah.
We go to the gym, and then we order like this is the stupidest shit ever, right? You go to the gym.
You get like 7 of them.
And you get 5 orders. You get 5 orders of the 99 cents, right? Like there goes like 2 weeks at the gym, man. Like why can't you even go?
Calories in, calories out. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you feel all good. Like I burned them. Now let me put them all back on plus some, you know, like. But man,
Hey, but if you had a good workout, your body's still burning it.
they're so good, bro. Right?
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
there,
but-
Popeye, man. Oh man, you put the
Here's
little
the
hot
thing.
sauce on it. Oh damn.
You brought a Big Mac, right? Like, is it me or like I know the prices have been going up, but has a Big Mac been getting smaller? Because I don't think my hands have grown that
All
big
food. I
since.
mean, look at bagged chips. That's like air. You're
They
buying
should just call it
air.
Mac at this point. Take out the word big.
Yeah. Well, anything. This is the last of the Gatorade of this size. I used to drink Gatorade all the time. They've made them smaller, and it's the same price. If that's an inflationary tactic, you make their packages smaller. So instead of a 32 ounce, it's now a 28 ounce, and you're again the price is the same. You're just buying less.
My
Paying
son-
more for it.
My son's favorite is that $5 Wendy order thing. You know that he likes the fries, and we get a Frosty, but I get to eat the hamburger.
Yeah,
Dude, the hamburger's like that big,
Yeah, listen. Yeah.
bro. It's
I
like that
remember-
big. I'm
Dude,
honestly,
like
it's
that.
that big. It's
You
like
used
what
to be
happened?
able to grip it like a Spalding basketball. Now you can just kind of like hold it with like two
It's
fingers.
like,
Bro.
$2 gone.
You know how they give
Finger
you
food.
You know how they give you the ranch. You know the ranch in that little ranch thing. You can actually
Yeah.
dip the burger in the ranch. Bro, it's so small.
That's
like-
sad.
That's
That's
sad.
sad.
Start charging for rent.
Oh man.
and-
Oh man.
Other
That's
sauce.
rough.
It's
Over.
fun to have it because you don't. To me, it's like it's smaller, so I don't get that many calories. So I'll eat it, you know, whatever, you know. But yo, man, that was a good conversation, man. You know, and you know, it's just something I've been thinking about, like about where we going as comic collectors, you know, with the, you know, with where we're going with the economy, man. So, hey, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you, bro?
So like Ian put it up, I'm on Instagram, hyper.combo.comics, and I'm also on the Comic Kingpin's YouTube channel. We go on every Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern, so I guess that would be 4 p.m. Pacific. And we also have our show, Royally Fucked. This is a play on the FOC, so we kind of talk about books on, you know, the upcoming FOC Monday. That usually plays on Saturday at noonish, I believe, but we usually put up on our Instagram story when we're going live. So yeah,
You know,
check
man,
us out.
You know what, man? If your show, because you guys have a really good show at the Kingpins, I love
Appreciate
it, man.
it.
It's,
Thanks, man.
I mean, it's one of the best shows on YouTube. If this was during COVID, you guys be over 1,000, bro, already. You know, like for
Yeah.
real.
Right.
It's just, you know, like we're now we have to really fight for our subs because everybody's back working, bro, and doing and partying, bro.
Yeah, we're fighting
Bro, I
against
would-
good weather.
You know, I went to
Yeah.
BJ's the other day because my wife was like, I want to go eat BJ's, right? So we went to BJ's, bro. It was packed. We were waiting in line. I was like, dang,
Yeah.
we're back to normal now. We were waiting for 20 minutes, you know, like so.
Traffic's gone up. Yep.
Instead of them watching our shows, bro, they're all at BJ's. You know what I'm saying? We're on BJ's, man. You know, on Monday and Tuesday nights. And then, hey, Kirk, where can they find you, bro?
Muted, bud.
Muted.
At least we won, Kirk.
Not
At least we
bad.
won tonight.
There you
At
go.
least we won tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's been texting me and updating me. No, I was just saying you can find me on Instagram, also on YouTube. I do a show with Not Near Mint every Wednesday where we interview indies, Kickstarters, whoever wants to come on, people from the community. Yeah, we have a good time and talk about the books that we picked up for the
Not Near Mint, man. You're always Not Near Mint's a good show too, man. You know, so and then Paul said, let me see. Paul said in New Zealand they call the chicken sandwich a zinger burger.
Wait,
Ooh,
isn't
I
that what they
like
call it?
that name.
KFC?
Zinger burger. That's I need a zinger burger. That
Let
sounds
me get the
super good.
zinger.
Isn't that what they call it? KFC? I thought there was a zinger burger in KFC.
I did.
right?
No, I don't know. I've never heard of that one. That's a first for me.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that name before over
Zinger
here.
burger. I remember eating the zingers. Those zingers, you know, the Hostess zingers. Remember those guys, the old guys?
Oh yeah, no, those
Oh,
sound
those
familiar.
are good, bro. Those are good. Can't eat that no more. Can't eat that no more, man. Dan, where can they find you, bro?
Instagram, you can. I get a lot of messages every so often. People ask me about speculation. I answer as many as I can. This Friday, I'll be on with Lady Fantastic. We're talking about Silver 8 stuff. She's a very interesting person to talk to. Love her show. Sunday, I'll be on the Comic Book Canon show. It's their 1,000th,
Nice.
100th episode. So 100 or 1,000.
Hmm.
So anyway, we'll be doing a giveaway there. And the next Friday, the Tony Sanders show. I'm always up to something on Tony Sanders.
Huh.
That's another fun show.
Yeah, man. I love that Tony Sanders show. I couldn't watch you guys this time, man, because I was
That was so good.
I was wrecked, Dan. You know what wrecked means? You know
No.
what wrecked. I was wrecked, bro, because we were doing takedowns. So we were doing judo
Oh, okay,
stuff.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh my god, I don't know how I don't know
Also,
how you guys do it, bro. Like, that was the most wrecked I've been, bro. Like, I was like,
no, I
Jesus Christ.
teach Taekwondo. I don't do wrestling or
Taekwondo.
groundwork. Yeah, we try. I teach my students not to go to the ground because that's a different fight. Going to the ground is a total different animal. And I say I'd rather. I mean, I did that for a while. There was a guy that taught MMA here in Sonoma. Really nice man, but man, that's hard work. That's
judo.
really hard work.
They throwing you around, bro. Like you're going over someone's shoulder and you're.
It's serious stuff. It's serious stuff.
I don't know how they judo. I don't know how you survive that, bro. You must have got to be young to be doing that early.
The key is you just gotta fall correct and you're good.
Bro,
that's right.
Even if you fall correct, bro. Like I was like, man, my back, my neck. I felt like that guy on Friday.
My neck and my back.
Like I woke up sweating because I was so much pain, bro. I was like, dude, this is
hey, having nightmares. Oh,
then, hey man, we don't want to forget Jaw, comic book crackhead, man. He's still on the show. He just had to work today. He jumped in on his break, man. We appreciate you, Jaw. He'll be back. He's actually gonna be on this show with me this Wednesday because we have the Wednesday night comic fudgets of 1 hour comics and banner, and we have Past Point One is one of our hosts, and we have Paul in the 619. We're gonna have Nando Knight. He's gonna come on, and then I think Rudy's gonna come on. Rudy is one of my new moderators here as well. Nice. And then we are gonna have who else are we gonna have? I think that's it, man. But it's an open invitation for everybody to come, man. Hype was on it last. We had fun, right? Hype, you were on the last.
Yeah,
show?
It was a good time, and that was like your premiere, right?
Yeah, it was our premiere, man. We just talk about whatever, bro. I think we're talking about like Joe Coy's new movie too. I think Paul wants to talk about that too, man. So I'm down for that, dude. So hey man, but I want to welcome thanks Hype coming on, and hanging out with us, bro. Like, bro, you're like fam, bro. Like you just kind of mixed in super well, like that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. Like I said, even though it's late here, it's always nice to just chop it up with you guys, just talking comics and just talking about the shit that kind of gets us gets us in the feels, right? So it's talk to like-minded people, just have a good conversation. That's I'm all about that.
Yeah, and Kype, you're one of the best people in the community. You're a real gem. I got to throw that out, man.
Yeah, man. Dude.
Did Hoodrat freeze?
I think he froze.
Yeah, I think he's froze.
I think he was just gonna.
No, you're back. You're back. You're back.
I'm back. Yeah. But with you thick and thing, man, Hype has always been a homie, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I appreciate you. All the way from like the beginning, man. Like when I jumped on YouTube, because I think that
When did you jump on YouTube?
Oh, bro, like 2020 March, bro. Right at COVID. 2020
Yeah, so
March.
so I kind of jumped on probably around when I was on Newbie Show, probably October, November of 2020. So actually a few months after you.
Yeah, man. So we've been on for we've been on for a minute now, bro. Yeah. It's just fun though, with Dan and Kirk and John now, and then the Wednesday night crew, bro. Like those Efren and Paul, bro. Like they're just, you guys are all just down people, man. I appreciate y'all.
And one thing I like about it is like obviously like you mentioned, like Hoodrat, like I've known you for a while. Dan, we've known each other for a few months. Like it's always nice to chop it up with new guys that are Kirk, Mindshift. First time I'm sharing the screen with you, but you best believe I'm gonna definitely check your content out.
Yeah, same here.
So it's always nice chopping up with new people in the community as well, and not just familiar faces.
Yeah, well, how I like to put it is like comics were just the conversation starter. Like you build a lot of good friendships here in this community.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, I don't know. I was talking to somebody, man, but I was like, they were talking about doing a podcast, and I was telling like, yeah, man, you just do this, and this is what you do. And then I said something about you, Hyper. I was like, yeah, my friend was in Canada, and we he's on my show, and it's like we don't even have to be in the same place,
I didn't even know what a ring light was until you told me.
What?
I didn't even know what the hell was a ring light was until you actually told me.
I know, right? I was like, you gotta buy you a ring light, bro. Buy a ring light, bro. Like, yeah, you gotta have a ring light and a Yeti mic.
Yeah,
these are
I don't have a Yeti, but I have.
No, that's awesome too.
That looks very similar to a Yeti.
Yeah, I have a blue Yeti. Yeah, I think it's a Yeti, right? I have a blue too.
Yeah, I think mine is similar to yours. Yeah.
I've got a very inexpensive set, a little J Labs thing. It only cost me $40, but the sound quality's pretty damn good.
Oh, dude, it sounds really good. What do you got? What mic you got?
I actually got the Blue Yeti. I figured I'll step my production value up because for a while it looked like I was like filming out of like a camcorder from the 1950s.
I thought get a better camera too. I'm just using the laptop camera.
Oh, did you see the Tony Sanders show out last Friday? Dustin bought $1,000 camera and it was crap.
Wow.
And he was so frustrated. He just said, "Guys, I'm out of here." And I can't blame him. Yeah.
What is he doing? Like a whole new production on YouTube or something? It's like,
well, he's got his own show, so yeah, him and his brother, and I don't know if it's another brother or a friend of his, does a show every other Saturday. But yeah, he's semi-serious about his craft here, but he was so pissed off about. Yeah, that's the Two Brothers. Yeah.
Listen, if I'm spending $1,000 on a camera, I better have a script ready.
Yeah,
and all
they
that.
put a lot of production into their show.
$1,000 camera, man. Damn, that's a commitment. That's some YouTube commitment there.
Yeah, I better be optioned.
You trying to reach that 1 million mark.
Man, I'm all about the webcam camera, bro. Right there, webcam in webcam camera, man. So I appreciate everybody coming through, and thank you for hanging out with us for 2 hours and 15 minutes, man. We had a fun.
Yeah, we went a long time tonight.
Come by on Wednesday. We'll be on at 8, and I try to say we're gonna end at 9:15, but it never happens, man. So it just depends how, bro. It just depends on how wrecked I am, bro, that day. So but thank you for coming, Hype, Dan, man, Mindshift, and my boy Javid, man, out there, man. He's gonna be back on. But come check us out on Wednesday, man, with all the crew, the Fudgets, man, and Hype. If you want to come back on Wednesday, bro, you're always welcome, man. So
for sure, man, appreciate it.
But I'm Hoodrat, you're Hoodrat. We all Hoodrats, and have a great week, y'all. Deuces.
Good night, all.
Peace.